operator who is interested right now, who has a very confident interest in operating the building and potentially owning the
Hi, y'all.
building as
We're
well.
live.
The ownership
Apparently they
currently
started
right now is
early,
still under the
so
City of
we're
Worcester
late.
ownership.
Here we are.
Eventually then, that ownership
I like
could
your
be
hat, Brandon.
transferred,
Thank you.
to
Went to the,
another
I
entity
really
that
couldn't
would
care
take
less,
on
but I went to the game on
operating,
Saturday night, and
aspects
I'm
of
like,
that
I'm going to buy a hat
facility.
because
And who
I
would
think
own
it's
the
what you do.
property at that point?
Nice.
If it depends on the agreement that we settle. We can continue to
Catching up
own
on what they're
the
talking about.
property and then go into a management agreement to manage the operations, or we can sell the property to that developer or that entity.
What do you
that's
think
willing
their
to take
tone
full
is going to be
control,
like
and operations of it.
now that
Is there anything specific that
nobody
limits
from the
us
public's
to
allowed
the
inside?
American Heritage Group?
Oh, is there nobody from the public even allowed
Or is it
inside
open
tonight?
to the chair?
Well, I mean, there's like security, like,
No,
you know, you got to go,
they actually
there's a
have also
process
the
now.
ability
Yeah, it's
to
very
I'm going
ostentatious.
to guess
acquire
there's
or
fewer
retain
people there.
acquisition
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
it's
property,
curious as to whether or
as
not
well.
it's
So
like,
they can
they're
acquire
going to
the
start
property,
talking like they don't have an
for
audience
the
anymore.
purposes of what they've laid out.
Like the old days.
And that would be at
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know
hoping we didn't
exactly
miss
that answer.
public
That would be
comment
something
then.
we can come back
Fear
and
Sounds like we
report
may
on
have.
that. I don't know
Although,
exactly. Would it be a market
actually, I
rate, or would it be
don't know,
something that
because
we would
they're
take
just
into account
reconvening
based
last
on the money
week's
that
meeting.
they've already contributed in the design and preparation plans for the vision that they
What up,
see.
Rando?
And this
Welcome
commitment
back.
from,
Yo.
I think Governor Healy made this announcement. That's for fiscal 26. What is that? What is that commitment? What's the time parameters through the chair?
Mr. Manager?
Yeah, through the chair to the council. I don't think there's a commitment in terms of fiscal year. This is all relevant to the federal dollars coming in and also the development project in terms of the timetable of the development project. There's still, right now, it is estimated based on the vision that they laid out, it's about $100 million project. This is only $50 million. So they would have to seek other funding. They have to seek equity partners. So they still have a lot of time to work to put the rest of the capital stack together.
Oh, son.
Through the chair to
Right
administration,
back.
for clarification, so are you saying that these dollars could come in anytime within the next 1, 2, 5, 7 years, depending how long Haley's there, or help me understand and help the public understand what's really going on here through the chair?
Mr.
Yeah.
Manager?
Through the chair to the council, those dollars can come at depending on when we receive the federal tax credit dollars. Once those dollars then are assigned.
Eric going
to the
gray
American
faster than
Heritage
I,
Foundation for the
than he should be
purposes of
going gray.
development, that could take 6 months, that could take a year. They're working through right now that process to acquire and put all together all the funding structure.
And through the chair, the federal tax monies that would be coming in, the tax credits, where are we at with that? When are you anticipating that to happen through the chair?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, there is a great indication that we will receive them, but we haven't been confirmed that we've received them yet.
Receive them when? This year, next year, 3 years, 5 years? What's the?
The hope is this year.
Okay. Through chair to the administration, I believe there was $2.9 million that
You can't be both.
the
You can't both
budget
be
had,
first.
carved out for the roof, I believe. And this budget was prepared prior to the announcement. We received this, we heard the announcement. Help me understand how that plays in,
fair.
because it seems to me that that's 2.9 million that we were to use. We got 50 million coming in that we were not anticipating.
We
and
came
I
in
just
late,
want
so
the
we're not
public
even
to
really sure what
understand
they're
before we move
discussing.
forward with the budget.
It's, I don't know how late we
what
are,
that
but
really
it seems
means.
like they were taking the reconvening of last meeting seriously enough
Yeah,
where they
through the chair to the
jumped right in.
council, it's a good question.
Might have been
We've
like
actually been
mid-sentence from last.
evaluating the roof in that building. We have trees growing in, we had water coming, infiltrating that building and impacting the infrastructure. And so we felt, through the Parks Department, we felt as though that we needed to put some dollars to make some repairs. This $2.9 million does not fix the entire roof. It's basically repairs to the roof. We need to sustain that roof to sustain the integrity of that infrastructure that's there. And this was in anticipation of these dollars that were alluded to us. And so that's something that we knew we needed to address. Whether we received the dollars or not, we knew we needed to address the roof.
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Troubler,
not quite
before you
sure
came
what
in,
that means,
I was saying that to Travis.
that
Like,
the
I'm kind of
25
curious if the
million was
tone of these meetings
anticipated,
is going to
hadn't been
change with fewer
announced.
people in the
I, as an elected
in the hall.
official, wasn't aware of it. I don't
I'm
know
assuming
if
that like
folks
the
here
security
were.
setup will
And we already had our pre-meetings
limit crowds,
and
limit
the
participation, and
allocation
whatnot.
for
I can kind of
$2.9
see
million.
them talking
My
like they don't
question to
have an
the
audience
chair
anymore,
is,
like they
it
used to.
seems to me that's a bit of a surplus, without the lack of a better word, but that's 2.9 additional dollars that could perhaps go back to the taxpayer, Mr. Chairman. My question to the chair, to the administration is, we get these $50 million, which was not part of the roof repair. The purpose of that, as you stated, is for repair. My concern is that that additional money is not reallocated in places that would be most helpful. So through the chair to the administration, if you can just kind of identify, which departments you think,
We haven't seen Bill
might
yet.
be
He should be
dipping
here
into
soon.
free cash,
Yeah.
might be transferring monies. I've repeatedly
started
said on
early.
this floor that the HHS and the unsheltered
We didn't know
homeless
this started early,
situations,
Big Brother
lack
moves.
of team, without the increase, it's the lowest budgeted department in the city. It's one area. Our youth services, our youth division, we know we have, $500,000 a year going off to Discover Massachusetts, an unproven entity here in the city. And I'm just trying to understand.
Probably we were talking about that, if whether or not that'd be a huge deterrent
what
for
you'll be
people
looking
wanting
to
to
do,
participate. I'm sorry to hear that it is.
Given
What did you have to go through
your experience
to get in?
as the acting
Big
and
brother?
the current city manager, with additional dollars that we find ourselves with through the chair?
Yeah, through the chair to the council, I think what's important here, that the 2.9 million is not operating dollars, it's not cash, it's actually a loan that we would have to borrow against. We don't typically borrow against operational needs. That is typically tax levy, so whatever's borrowed is typically goes to capital projects. And so if the $50 million or the rest of the dollars that are for this potential project come in quicker than anticipated, then we may or may not need to spend the $2.9 million, which means we never spend them. And that impacts our debt service overall as a city, so that we don't have to incur more debt. And that's why we're always analyzing and reviewing our debt in terms of what we're borrowing, because again, our debt service plays a big role in terms of our budget allocations every single year. And so it's not like I can take these 2.9 million and move them to the youth office, because these are capital dollars for infrastructure, not for operational needs. And this is something that we would borrow against.
Yeah, respect,
So
Trevor.
it's different buckets in terms of what
I
we
don't know.
would project
I
out.
feel like
But again, it's an authorization that the
we're gonna
council
get a
will vote
Brad
tonight
Lander style
that would give
moment
us the
here at City
authorization
Hall one of these
to go
nights.
for a loan order if we needed to make these roof repairs
I don't know if
based
everybody
on the
saw,
timing of this project.
but NYC
Thank you,
mayoral
Mr.
candidate
Chairman.
being forced out by
we
ICE
last met
agents
here,
this
I
morning.
think it was that
I haven't seen the clip yet.
It's getting a little
It's
blurry.
horrendous.
We had talked about,
And he was later released, and they're basically like, we're
Money's
reviewing the
borrowed
footage. We'll
and not
find out
expended.
what charges we're gonna
and I
press
think
against
we said
him.
we were around about, I thought we said $1 billion through the chair. Is that accurate? What is the numbers that we had talked about last meeting? Because
McGarthy?
when we're talking about 2.9 that we're projecting to take a loan out
Yeah,
on.
there. That's
When we're
electric.
talking about 2.9 million and we may or may not need it, I'm just trying to understand all of that. And if you could clarify, because I think we were discussing that the last meeting or the meeting before. Through the
Sure.
chair.
I wish,
Through
Big
the
Brother.
chair,
I think
so the
that's just
auditorium
Big Daddy
project is a
Bezos
$2.5
making money off our
million
back.
loan authorization that we're requesting. What we were discussing last time was loan authorization, so not borrowing, but loan authorization of $1 billion that is available but not utilized. But as we talked about last time, loan authorization for specific purposes. So this loan authorization in front of you today is for the auditorium. We would be reverting over the course of time various loan orders that would reduce that $1 billion down based on what was needed and the purposes for those funds.
And through the chair to the administration, we may or may not need this 2.9 million, as I understood from what you stated. Is that right, through the chair?
Mr. Manager?
Yeah, through the chair to the council, it all is all contingent on the status of the project, the progress of the project, and the needs for us to repair that roof immediately.
You know, I'm just going to say this. I'm not quite sure, and, you know, over the next term, I'll certainly be looking at the unused monies that we have taken out. We're talking about $1 billion. We were talking about kind of paying that down to improve our ratings and what have you. You know, and it doesn't seem to make much sense to me, if we're getting 50 million in, that this council was not privy to prior to our briefings on the budget, where we're asking for 2.9, that perhaps, you know, there's an impact on borrowing. I know that one of the things before us tonight is Seaver Street, Mr. Chairman. And, you know, when we talk about borrowing monies for municipal, for our schools, facilities, et cetera, you know, this sort of thing comes to mind. You know, if we can borrow 2.5 million for the auditorium, we may or may not need it, but we have perfectly good facilities available for kids and youth and students, and we're not willing to access that same sort of funding, gives me pause and gives me question, Mr. Chairman. So I'll be looking at that in the next term or so. I know there's a vote tonight, and I'm quite sure I know where that will go on Seaver Street. I'm just disappointed with that sort of planning in our budgetary process, that we're not taking into account all of the things that we should be taking out our loans for. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anybody else? Council Bergman?
We're still in committee. Do I need to stand?
No, we're in the regular
Oh, yeah,
council
thank
meeting.
you. Okay. Just
Yeah,
very
stand up,
briefly,
lazy ass.
I'm certainly going to support the budget. We've had a lot of meetings. We've had a lot of discussions back and forth. I think every budget comes with, I think the terminology that's often used is choices, and I think there's some hard choices were made, but I think they're, by and large, good choices. I think the only comment I want to make before we vote on the budget is the one department that I had some concerns about, which we had a discussion with last week, was the library. And I know I had asked Mr. Homer, the executive director of the library, some questions, and I got responses back that were, to me, very unspecific regarding taking a holistic approach, a people-first approach. So it kind of made me want to dig a little deeper, because I've been hearing from employees that there are problems. So going forward, I'm going to be looking to talk more about what the financial needs may be to correct some of the issues there, and I do believe there are issues there, and I do believe it has, and I know other people may disagree.
What?
It has maintained no more than a status quo approach as far as resolving those issues. So let me just say why I say that. And,
What issues,
and I'll
Mo?
sit down, vote on the budget, and then look forward over the next number of months this year, trying to address these issues a little bit more specifically. I was able to view a correspondence dated April of 2025, which is less than 2 months ago, the specific date on there. In that correspondence, it was addressing the concerns of the employees and a list of specific numbers: 25 assaults over the previous 14 months, 233 disorderly conducts, 130 drug incidents, 110 incidents
Yeah, I
of
knew
threatening
this is where this is
behavior,
going.
500 miscellaneous incidents, including sexual harassment and property damage. Now, granted, it's over a 14-month period, but, you know, when I hear comments like people first, you know, the people that work there and the people that are patrons are also people that should come first. And I think this needs a lot more work, and, you know, it's too late in the day to address that this budget cycle, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that I didn't feel that the information
Metal
I had last
detectors,
week
full
was
pat
specific
downs,
enough to really address what's really going on, and looking
blood
forward
sample
to
before
the
going
rest of
into
this
the
year to try and
public
address these
information
issues. Thank
center,
Mr.
you
Chairman.
goddamn monster.
Thank you. Anybody else? Council Russell?
What's your solution, Mo? What's your alternative?
Mr. Chairman, I too will end up supporting this budget at the end of the day, and ready to vote on it today. During the committee meeting, the Finance Committee, I had talked about some of the money with Discover Central Mass. I said the report that came in as part of the council agenda today. I don't want to, be jumping around all over the agenda, but I'll address that indirectly. I'm
Let's
happy
find
to
some
see
money. We'll put
that
a shooting
Discover Central
gallery in
Mass
the,
actually
like a safe
got
shooting
somebody from
place
some
in
other
the
community.
library.
I had
Get it
said,
staffed by
did
medical
they get
professionals.
$1? Did they get $1? They did. They got $10,000. So I was pretty happy to see that, but it was for one fiscal year, and it's a drop in the bucket compared to the amount that they get from Worcester. But I hope that they'll utilize their contacts going forward to do even more of that. But, Mr. Chairman, overall, my concern about that, I know I don't have the votes on the council to talk about cutting it or reducing it or anything else. So I'm just asking, again, the same question I asked in committee. Why can't this come from that DCU district? Especially in light that the comments that Mr. McGurthy made last week or the week before about the deficit that we're going to be facing again on the ballpark area, where we're going to be going back to the taxpayers for, and I think the words that Mr. McGurthy used were a similar amount or something to that effect of what we had last year. That was like 700,000. So if that's the case, why isn't there room in that DCU budget, DCU district, if you will, as there was pre-COVID, to handle that expense? So that's my question for the administration. If the manager or Mr. McGurthy want to answer it now, that's fine. If
I'm
not,
hearing
put it in the suggestion
George is asking,
box
hey,
going
could we get
forward,
Cliff Rucker to
because,
pay for this
it's
shit?
something that we should be looking at.
Mr. Manager?
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to just share some. I think one of the things that happened pre-COVID, there was a number of improvements. that
Doesn't
were
just the
made.
fact that any
We
of them
had
can
significant
insert
amount of
into
dollars
the
that we could
conversation
borrow against
concerns
that the
about
state had
the
provided to
ballpark
us,
finances,
over the
shouldn't that
amount of
preclude them
years.
from even being involved with the budget conversation?
We've now
Right, they've already shown their
expensed
incompetence.
or draw down those dollars to the point that we don't have any more to draw down. And so we're going to be facing over the next few years, unless we're able to receive further help from the state, and that's something that the DCU partnership, the operators, McGurthy and myself have been working on a letter advocacy to the state to generate more money for the DCU because we have significant repairs in that building. And so we've been very careful of continuously using those dollars, and that's why we've been trying to utilize all the dollars that we could so that we can continue to utilize the district's dollars for the purposes of capital spending in the debt service there. We are working with the Convention Authority at the state level to see if we can get additional dollars or other avenues, other options. But again, that's the decision as to why we've chosen to utilize the operating tax dollars rather than the district tax dollars
Suppose it
of
took
this
them that
particular
long, big brother.
district for this purpose.
All right, but going forward, I'll tell you, that's good. In the past, over the years, even buildings nearby, I think the parking garage had some money from the DCU district that was utilized. The infrastructure around the facility, the actual streets, the sidewalks, some money went from that DCU tax district went toward those things. And if it's all going into the building and there's a continuous request for funds, we being the city should be asking ourselves a question, and that question should be, where do we go from here? Because if a building continues to need those funds and the management company is not bringing the kind of acts and the kind of revenue in to support that building, then we have to continuously go back, and that's what we're doing here, because these funds were in the past taken from the DCU district. And if they're going to be taken from the taxpayer, just like the people in the community that talk about the ballpark number, and the same thing, we shouldn't be doing that. So we need to ask ourselves where we're going with that building. And I know the management company has probably an ironclad contract, but conversations need to be had if they're not being had already. Is there enough revenue being generated here? You know, in the world of real estate, we look at the income, we look at the money going out, and we make a decision on the building. I think the decision needs to be
Can you
made.
come up with the
and
word
that's one thing that
expenses?
I've talked about, and other councilors have talked about over the years, is trying to see if we can do like we did with the Worcester Airport and get the state involved in this, in the ownership of that building.
Mr. Manager?
Yeah, through Chair to Council, that's a good point, and that's
Thanks,
something that
JL.
we were actually
Thanks for
exploring
following.
in conversation with the state. potential
They
acquisition.
had Billy Strings last
One of
summer.
the
It
things
was a
that we
bunch of
were-
old
I mentioned
hippies
this last week,
taking
that we were
nitro
able to
shots
do
around the
this
DCU.
contract.
That got to
First
generate some
time
money.
Ever in any contract that we've had with this company, we were able to get them to provide.
Thanks for liking the stream, Tony
us an
Lopez.
upfront $3.5 million for the purposes of capital improvements. And that was important for us because.
No
these
more
are
Monster
buildings,
Jam nights.
and if
That's
we
got to
wanna
be putting
continue
too
to
much wear and
provide
tear on
these
the building.
extensions,
Can you hear him?
contracts,
That has
or
repairs it
award these
needs.
new contracts to this company, then they have to be able to give something back. And this year, they were willing, and we were able to negotiate a $3.5 million cash investment to the city, that they're gonna make some improvements in the building. So those are ways that we can try to leverage additional funds, but I agree with you, there's other options that we should explore, and those are all the options that we need to put at the table right now.
Thank you,
Gravedigger
Shaun.
went too ham. He was taking out fans and
Okay,
stands.
anybody else? Seeing nobody else, the motion is we take them collectively to adopt the operational budget, fiscal 26 budget, along with the capital budget, the loan orders, and chairman's orders. We take them collectively in a roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman? Yes. Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Gia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Ryan? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes,
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Any petitioners here, just let me know, but the first petition is going to refer to the planning board. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 9B to 9F, refer to the Public Works Committee. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Mr. Chair, can I
Council
say
Pasillo.
something on 9D?
Yep. Council Pasillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think most of us who have been up Sagamore know that Lower Sagamore Road is in really, really poor condition. And I'm wondering if there's any way to fast track some kind of resurfacing or help for that part of the street. They fill the potholes, and within a week or so, they're just all kind of back. So thank you.
Thank you. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to support Councilor Pasillo's request to fast-track this. I know for quite some time now, folks have been concerned about the lower part of Sagamore. It's my understanding that the upper part has been repaved a number of times. And, you know, folks in that neighborhood, we would like to see this happen. I happen to drive that way often from my office in that direction. And anything we can do, it's an extremely, extremely poor condition. I'm not quite sure if there's an engineering issue over there either, or if it's just a materials issue. But we really should fast track this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so send that to Public Works. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 9G to 9WD, refer to the Traffic and Parking Committee. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
What the hell's that?
Set of hearings for July 15th for 3 conduit locations. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. David Webb filing 4 open meeting law complaint forms to send that to the Law Department. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Run the manager's calendar. Okay, first one up. Let's see. First one is in 10.3A, recommend adoption of an order to grant exemption to 2 site coordinators who are also active employees of the Worcester Public Schools, serving as cultural and climate para-educator and as a cafeteria manager. Adopt on a roll call.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Ojeda
Council-
will recuse himself.
Okay, Councilor O'Hare, for the record, has accused himself. Council King.
Just really quick, do we do 9K already? I didn't realize we did that. I wanted to speak on that.
Yeah, we did 9. Which one's K? I'm sorry.
The school zones.
HIJK. Oh, yeah, we did them all. Yeah, the 9s. Yep.
Can I speak on that?
The motion is to suspend the rules, to go back to 9K.
Yeah, they started at
All those
6.
in favor? Need a roll call? Roll call.
Council Bergman? Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Gia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question to the administration real quickly on the school zones. I had requested an audit. I've talked about this a bajillion times regarding point-in-time data, requesting point-in-time data as relates to school zone and school zone signage across the city. It actually came from a constituent on Burncoat Street. Now moving on to a couple of years ago now. So I just wanted to ask you, the chair, to the administration, when we'll be seeing that? I would like this information as soon as possible. It's been 2 years, just about, and we should have this information. It's a real safety concern, and we need to be able to, as an elected body, with the appropriate committee, know and be aware of where we are and where we've been in terms of this.
Commissioner?
Thank you. Through the chair. So the City Council did recently adopt an ordinance that officially established all of these areas as school zones. I actually believe that North Parkway location was one of them. I'll need to confirm that. So what we're doing now is we have been going through each of the potential school zones, but they hadn't been formally established before that. So that was a necessary first step. We're going through that process, starting with the Vision Zero high priority corridors, and then we'll work our way through the rest of the corridors. But it's an extensive effort to go through each of these. As we find issues, we're putting work orders in and getting the work done right away to address that. So that's how we've been addressing this particular request.
Councilor King?
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank Commissioner's Department for all the work that they've done, Councilor Hadji and others leading on school zones. This body requested unanimously that we get an audit, a point-in-time audit of school signage throughout the city, and it came after folks were concerned that in some of the inner core of Worcester, there was no signage. I'm aware that in some places that was not established as school zones. I want the data. This body asked for the data to the administration. When can we expect the point-in-time data that was requested? I'm not asking. If part of that data is, hey, these particular schools were not properly zoned, and we changed the ordinance, or whatever the case might be, that's great. That can be part of the data. But when are we going to get the data? Do we have to hire someone else? Do we need to go to an outside auditor? Perhaps I need to make an order to the auditor, but I was trying to go through the city manager, through the chair to the manager. Are we going to get those numbers?
Commissioner?
Through the chair, we'll put a report on the next city manager's agenda, which I believe is July 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Thank you. Member Carlson, by Councilman Pasillo.
Mr. Chairman, as Mr. Raleigh said, this here on North Parkway, that has been
That's a shirt, Candy.
deemed the proper zone. I know
God, I don't
working
like
with
that. I like
Department
that.
of Transportation and Mobility,
Those are cool
several
colors and
issues
textures.
arising around this particular area. It was taken care of by Department of Transportation and Mobility. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pasillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to add, there is a speed monitor sign in front of Burncoat High School, like the electronic sign, and just through the chair to the city manager or to Commissioner Raleigh, it doesn't clock you as speeding until you hit 31 miles per hour. So through the chair, is there a way to change the speed limit on that sign? Thank you.
Commissioner?
Through the chair, so I'll need to look at the specifics of the sign, but it sounds like it needs to be adjusted to
88
45
miles
per
an
hour
hour.
for any
Yeah,
time,
exactly.
And then during the school hours, it should be 20. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So motion to send that to traffic and parking. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Do we do the first one? No. So motion 10.3A is adopting the roll call. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman,
Yes.
Councilor Calorio,
Yes.
Councilor Haji,
Yes.
Councilor King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Councilor Nguyen, Councilor Ojeda recused himself, Councilor Pasillo,
Yes.
Councilor Russell, Councilor Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. B is recommend adoption of proposed salary amendments that will bring ordinance in compliance with changes enacted in the fiscal year 2026 budget. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
Mayor Petty.
Yes. C is recommend adoption of proposed amendment to the salary ordinance to bring the ordinance into compliance with fiscal year 26 budget recommendations. Motion is advertised the proposed ordinance.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going quick because I think they're trying to
10.4A.
finish last week's agenda and go through this week's agenda.
C, fiscal year 2026 program year
And to
51
the dude
funding
watching
from
us
the
on
U.S. Housing,
Facebook,
Urban
you are
Development,
horrendously
Retirement Program,
misinformed.
Community Development Block Grant.
City council
Emergency
meeting. This is all about
Solutions
stop
Grant,
signs and
Home
the dumbest
Investment
minutia.
Partnership Program, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS.
Literally all we have.
For the Public Health and Human Services for a meeting. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay. Recommend the adoption of the fiscal year 26, fiscal year 30 housing production plan. Refer that to economic development. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. C, recommend authorization to accept a deed and restriction in perpetual term of residential properties located on 38 Etna Street, 210 Perry Avenue, 521 Summer Road, 523 Summer Road, and 13 Hawley Street. Adoption on the roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King, Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell, Council Toomey,
Yes.
Mayor Petty.
Yes, recommend approval of the order regarding the jurisdiction, disposition of the real property at 6 Gladstone Street. Adopting the roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes, next item is recommending approval of the order regarding jurisdiction disposition of the real property at 22R Holcomb Street. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. F, recommend the
Yeah, he
discontinuance
had a
of
whole
portion of
mouthful
the
of
former
marbles on that
Worcester
Holcomb
Street
Street.
layout at Washington Square. Refer to the planning board. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. On transfer information communication relative to the Business and Community Development Division update, send that to Economic Development. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 10.7A, request adoption of an order authorizing acceptance of a deed located at 120 Washington Street. Adopt on the roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. This one and the next one?
Yeah.
So let me vote the next one, do them both, Clark.
Sorry.
Okay, motion to reconsider, roll
Yes.
call. That's on A, roll call.
Motion to reconsider on A, right?
10.7A.
Yep.
Council Bergman,
No.
Council Calorio,
No.
Council Haji,
No.
Council King,
No.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
No.
Council Pasillo,
No.
Council Russell,
No.
Council Toomey,
No.
and Mayor Petty.
No. Next item is request adoption of an order authorizing the conveyance of temporary and permanent easements related to 120 Washington Street. Adopt on the roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
What up, Bill Port?
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council
What's up?
Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Happy
Council
birthday.
Bergman,
Motion for
Thanks.
reconsideration.
It
reconsideration.
was yesterday,
roll
though,
call.
right?
10.7B,
They already
Council
started?
Bergman,
No.
Oh, yeah.
Calorio,
They started at
Council Haji,
5:30
No.
or
They're
5:15.
now already.
No.
Councilmember Carlson,
Oh, shit. I
Council
read the
Nguyen,
agenda wrong.
Council Ojeda,
My bad.
Council Pasillo,
No.
Council Russell,
You guys haven't been on the
Council
stream for an
Toomey.
hour, have you?
and Mayor
Yeet
Petty.
up. Half hour.
We should do that on the budget too, those four
Damn.
budget items we did, A, B, C, and D.
I see it all in the group chat.
No,
for the operational budget, capital budget, loan orders, and.
I have nothing in the
change
group chat.
orders. Motion is to reconsider.
Council Bergman,
Weird.
Collectively?
Oh, no, I do.
Yes.
Council Calorio,
No.
Council Aguirre,
No.
Council King,
No.
Wait,
Councilmember Carlson,
Not that any of this matters.
Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda.
no, the last thing I have in the
Council
stream
No.
is
Council Russell,
I can send a link
Council
short.
Toomey,
No.
and Mayor Petty.
No.
Really?
Okay.
You didn't get anything after
The
5:42?
2025 aqueduct update, Council Pacino.
Telling you, dude. I'm
Well, I
sending
believe
it.
you.
Thank
Glad
you
you're
so much,
here.
Mr. Chair. I'd just like to thank the
Flying through this
administration
stuff.
and Commissioner Antonelli for their partnership with the YMCA. This is making a huge difference for a lot of people in the city, and it's very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes.
Okay, refer that to Parks.
Oh,
Those in
yeah.
favor, opposed,
Everybody
so
should be
ordered.
going to this
Next
weekend.
item is transfer information communication of the tree planting update 2025. Council. Christian.
Mayor Petty.
No, I'll be quick here. This is something I filed over a
No,
year
it's
ago.
hot dogs candy.
I'm glad to see that we're going to be planting trees. Our goal is 2,000 trees before the end of next year. I want to thank Robbie Antonelli and the parks and everybody who's putting this together with DPW. Maybe a quick question to Mr. Antonelli is, you think we're going to meet that time frame for 2026? It looked good in the report. In all the streets, people should look at the report. It was every street they're going to try to plant a tree in.
Through the chair to the councilor, we are ambitious in attempting to get to that, but our goal is to meet that 2,000 tree requirement.
So right now, you're about 500 in, a little bit over that, I think. Way
Correct,
over the
yeah,
report.
we're in that range right now, and this is the time that we're starting the gear up for this coming fall. We're probably going to do some plantings in our public parks, and then next spring will be a good push in our public streets.
No, I want to thank you for that, especially in parts of the city where we
Did
don't
they
have
vote on the budget yet?
Yeah,
That's the way we follow the forestry, so I think this is very important. You seem to have spread it out.
a bunch
pretty
of it
well
passed.
throughout the city, so.
We
thank you.
came in
Yeah.
late, so it was hard to see where they were.
Whatever.
2,000 trees. We've done 500, and we're gonna wait till next spring to continue.
That's hilarious. Joe,
Send that to Parks.
had to get up and
Those in
just
favor, opposed, so ordered.
like
Choose
put a fine
information
point in the
communications
fact that we
relative
haven't
to
met
Elm
that goal.
Park Playground renovations.
He said he liked
Not
trees.
asking.
Council Patillo, you have any questions on that? No, I'm set. So I'm going to send that to your committee, the Parks. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transfer information communication concerning traffic safety at the intersection of Park Ave and Level Street. We'll send that to traffic and parking. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Recommend the adoption of amendment to the general laws ordinances to provide on-street parking, the portion of Grove Street area, Morgan Landing Park. That's pretty interesting. Glad we were able to do that. So we'll send, I forget whose district that's in. I think it's 2. And so we'll send that to traffic and parking. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Recommend adoption, recommend requesting adoption of amendment to the general revised ordinance to expand on-street parking options near City Hall, implement the changes effective immediately on the trial basis. Motion to adopt the order. And 2, to send it to traffic and parking. First motion is adopt the order.
Where are you gonna put more on-street
Council
parking?
Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Aguirre, Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Patillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes, so refer that to traffic. Yeah. So we'll send that to traffic and parking. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Mr. Mayor, can we also ask for a reconsideration on the adoption, so it goes into effect?
Okay, roll call.
Council Bergman,
No.
Council Calorio,
No.
Council Aguirre,
No.
Council King,
No.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen, Council Ojeda, Council Patillo,
No.
Council Russell,
No.
Council Toomey,
No.
and Mayor Petty.
No. Next item we have is transmitting information communication of the status of the CXS funding. Motion's been referred to.
All right,
the
so I
Board of
have
Development.
a ridiculous
Council King. I have some
mobile
orders, I think.
setup that I've been working on
Yeah, can we
all
take
week,
the 13-0? I think it's
and
just one
I
order,
might
right?
try to test it
There's four of them, I think.
this
Where are
meeting.
they?
We'll see.
13-0 and
13A, B,
it's,
C, and D. I think, hang on.
I think it's going to be good, but I don't think it's going to get through the metal detectors
Okay,
if those ever turn on.
22A as well, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I mean, you're
22A,
allowed to
I think
bring
we
in
table that
metal
as
as
well.
long as it's not a weapon,
22A.
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Table item 22A.
Can we take those? Yeah. Well,
take a-
22A was already
I
done,
mean, it's a
right?
weapon of mass
It's not- no, we
communication,
tabled.
but
We-
Oh,
but we
That's
tabled
right.
the table.
that's what the show is.
Hang on.
It was held, so.
I don't know if I want
It's
to
approved,
plant the
right?
seed
Yeah, hold
for
on.
everybody,
Yeah.
but
So it's for
I was
this
trying
one,
to
right?
find
Sure.
songs from
Can
Bill,
we take those
and I
down?
couldn't remember what
Okay, so we'll take
channel you
22A,
put it
1, 2,
under.
B, C, and D.
Thank you, Mr.
So I just
Chairman.
Googled your name and
Number of
Bandcamp.
questions
You have
have been
so
brought
many
to me
bands, dude.
With respect to from
Well,
throughout the city.
I've played music.
with
I've played
respect
some
to the
music in
CXX funding.
the past.
I had a
just
couple
wanted to know
solo
if the
albums. I was
administration,
jamming to some of
could
your stuff, a
walk
bunch of your
the
stuff
public
today.
through a little bit of this report.
Solo out? Which?
as
Oh yeah,
relates to,
there is one.
The gate fee,
So yeah,
and as it relates to expenditures.
you should go find Bill's whole catalog because it's interesting.
13-0, that
Where did you Google? Bill Strainer and
filed
Bandcamp?
as well.
Yeah,
Is
I was
really
listening to
just
A lot
some
of
like
it's old.
for transparency
a lot of it was
purposes,
real old.
asking for reports.
Some down tempo goth stuff.
Yep.
Concerning expansion of.
Little pop punk
I'm
from
sorry,
Milford.
13-0 is not part of this, I'm sorry, it's 13.
Say
From
hello,
like
baby.
2011.
Without Bones. Played on some Bone Without
Just
Bones track.
asking
Hell yeah.
for.
Heavy metal from
some
Worcester, High
additional,
Command.
Information. We know that.
Oh yeah,
the
Variable
committee,
Man.
As it's
Variable Man. That was one of them. Yep.
Variable
mentioned
Man,
here,
2019
the
to
neighborhood
2019.
committee, has not been.
The shortest lived, greatest
or
bands of all
wasn't,
time.
I guess active for a period of time, and I don't know exactly what that is. It says it no longer meets. The advisory committee that was part of the decision making, the community input into where monies would go. But if you could just kind of walk through the MOA, and also just for the
We'll have
public's
some more stuff this year, I
transparency,
think.
And
Hell yeah.
what happened with the neighborhood advisory committee
There was
with
a
regards to
George
input,
clip from before that
to
can be turned into the
disbursement through
song.
the chair.
I have one from last meeting I got pulled too, where he's talking about
Through the chair. So
Nostradamus.
this goes back to the 2010 agreement between the city, CSX
I pick up
and Mass
litter very well.
DOT
Might have noted the
as part
time.
of the initiative for the state to purchase the rail
Oh, yeah,
line
there's a
between
timestamp
Worcester
on
and
one.
Boston. And
They also
CSX
put out
to
an
build the
awesome
rail
video
yard,
that had what's in the trash playing in the background. That I
adjacent-
really
Yeah, while they were
enjoyed
picking up
hard.
trash. That was awesome.
It was awesome.
As part of that agreement, there was, and what's focused on here is a $5 million contribution. from
Brian says he
CSX
misses you all, and
toward
he
what's
hopes to be
called the
back next
neighborhood
week.
Oh,
improvement
miss you,
fund.
Brian.
And of that $5 million, some elements were spelled
yeah,
out in the agreement, and
Chris
some
gave
elements
me
were left to
an
the city
Insta
manager,
360
who had the
camera.
option
Okay.
to bring or create a citizen advisory committee to
Those
help
things are hilarious and
distribute
cool.
those funds for the economic benefit of the.
Those are
impact
It has a
of those
pretty
neighborhoods
big
being
scratch on the
Shrewsbury
front
Street,
lines,
Grafton Hill, and Canal
which
District.
makes
Okay.
it look dirty.
Of the $5 million,
But
$1 million
I think
was an open space donation. Those
will work
funds
with a
went
laptop
to
in my backpack.
conservation restriction around
Okay.
Ecotarium, exhibit.
And it has a
Ecotarium,
crazy zoom
Harrington
feature
Field,
where it
and
like focuses
Mulcahy
in on
Field.
things. I
Those
still
were
don't
spelled
quite
out
know
at
how
the
to use
beginning.
it yet. But
Of the remaining
Should be
Is that
4
the
million,
camera that people are putting in their
3
mouths and
million
running
of it
with, and
was
it has
for
like that
Holmes
weird
Field
view?
and East
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Those
You can.
projects, East Park
I'll set it up
did move forward. Holmes
later.
Field was converted to a more improvements to the park rather than aquatics,
It's
based on
not
neighborhood
the.
feedback.
It's pretty easy to use on a
That was 3
laptop. It's like
million.
impossible
The
to use on a
remaining
phone.
1 million was
You have to set up a-
distributed
you have to set
for
up
the
a-
benefit
an
of those
an
communities, Shrewsbury Street,
RTMP.
Grafton Hill, and the Canal District.
No, I don't think we can do that.
333,000
It
apiece.
sounds like the
In addition,
Canadian Mounted
there was
Police.
a gate fee
We don't have the budget
component
for
to
that.
the agreement where the city would receive a $1 fee
You have to, like, run a
for
server.
every container that
Whoa,
passed
really?
in
Gross.
and out of the
Yeah,
rail yard
it's too
after it
much
was
for
opened.
us.
The city manager at the time, Mike O'Brien, committed to forward funding an additional $1 million from that gate fee to the support of those neighborhoods. So rather than $333,000 as identified in the community investment donation, The amount became $666,000 as a result of the investment donation plus that forward-funded gate fee. As you can see, you mentioned the gate fees. I include in the back of the item an outline of the gate fees that were collected. It is a 20-year agreement in terms of the collection of the gate fees. We're about 11 years in. At this point, we have actually surpassed the $1 million in terms of collections. To date, we have collected $1.16 million of gate fees. So those dollars, City Manager Batista has committed a second $1 million to go to those neighborhoods. Again, essentially forward funding the gate fees, presuming that over the next 8 to 9 years, we will make up that additional difference, the about $900,000, to get us to that $2 million mark. The original committee, the Neighborhood Advisory Committee that you referenced, met through 2013, I believe. Frequently, they weighed in on projects, they made votes. Those votes were brought here to the City Council, recommended by the City Manager for appropriation. Those projects are outlined in the document, in the memo exactly, in terms of the various projects that were recommended. The only one I recognized as we went back through is City Council never voted on the Harding Street project, which was a neighborhood request to make improvements along Harding Street in the connections, because the city received federal funding that allowed for improvements on Green Street and Water Street, and they wanted to see those same types of improvements along Harding Street. That project has gone forward and is completed. So there are some funds remaining within the various neighborhood commitments. I outlined the different amounts. Shrewsbury Street has about $244,000 remaining. Grafton Hill has about $181,000 remaining. Canal District has $221,000 remaining. But those numbers are pre the manager's commitment to a second $1 million. So those numbers would be increased by $333,000 going forward on each of them. There are a few projects that were voted and then determined they were infeasible. That includes
Zip lines.
in the Canal District, Tobias Bowl and Plaza and Kelly Square. The state ended up redoing Kelly Square. Tobias Bowl and Plaza was built utilizing other private donations. And the Shale Street playground improvements, the initial design work was done, but then it was determined that the actual playground itself would be too costly due to the conditions on the site, and so that project never moved forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question as it relates to this particular fund. Through the chair, it looks, according to this document here, as I look at the projects that were funded.
I was assuming it's glass, and they were going to use the
Part of
kids as
this
sponges
was,
to help pick up the glass.
Indicated that at the outset, there was a neighborhood group that was meeting and working with the city and the elected officials with regards to all of this. Through the chair to the administration, when did that neighborhood group become defunct?
Mr. McGurthy?
Through the chair, I think it stopped meeting generally. It went through fits and starts. It did meet sometime around 2017, 2018. I don't believe it met after that. I think City Manager Augustus
fits and
officially
spurts or fits and
terminated the
starts?
membership when it reached the 10-year anniversary of the actual Neighborhood Advisory Committee.
Through the chair, you think?
Through the chair, I'm pretty sure I haven't gone back to try to find the actual letters that were mailed out, but it's my understanding after 10 years, boards and committee members serve 5-year terms. They can be extended once. That would be a 10-year term, and my understanding is the city manager closed the
letters
board,
didn't go out.
That makes
Is
sense.
what you're saying, through the chair.
Through the chair, letters would have gone out to the members explaining that their terms had ended.
Thank you.
And there were no
And
reappointments.
thank you. And through the chair, based on this report, it shows that from 2013 to 2018,
That's a little different.
funds were dispersed for the Canal District neighborhood improvement projects that included Worcester East Middle, Shrewsbury Street neighborhood projects, and Grafton Hill neighborhood improvement projects. Through the chair, can you speak to some of the items there in the interest of, in order to preserve my time for those sections?
Mr. McGurthy?
Sorry, you want me to talk about some of the different projects that
Sure.
were funded? Under Shrewsbury, well, across all three neighborhoods, the advisory committee requested funding for ShotSpotter.
I don't know if you guys saw, but there's a giant new park in Waltham that people are flocking to.
And the amount,
It's like $1 million park.
I'm sorry?
the amount for that?
You could have that. You could have that where Polar Park is,
$144,666 per
open
neighborhood.
to the public.
And Shrewsbury Street,
Actually
there was
generates
funding
revenue.
for Ecotarium West, funding for a Worcester East Middle School sign that was also funded under Grafton Hill and the Canal District. They agreed to split that cost for Worcester East Middle
Yeah,
School.
it looks banana land. And
North
the
High
news was
Van,
doing a story where
similarly,
people
the
were
cost
traveling
for
over an
new
hour and a
North
half
High
to
Van
go
was
because it
split
looks so
between
cool.
Shrewsbury Street and Grafton Street. Shrewsbury Street requested security cameras within the area, crosswalk beacons within the area, sidewalk repairs within the area, and then a larger element were
It does
improvements
kind of
at
look like a
East
water park.
Grafton Hill, again, they partially funded the Ecotarium West project. There were improvements to the Grafton Street Elementary School, both playground improvements and educational equipment. I mentioned Worcester East Middle School sign and North High School van. Security cameras were also requested in the Grafton Hill, Union Hill neighborhood. And then I mentioned the Shale Street playground improvements. The survey and plans was initially
We'll have no
done, but
argument
the
from this
determination
group.
was made not to go forward with that project. And then in the Canal District, in addition to
just take Shrewsbury
ShotSpotter and Worcester East Middle School.
I was gonna say, Brandon's been
the
talking about
committee
taking
recommended
Holden
the
for
Harding
years.
Street improvements. That one item never fully was sent through the council process.
be a bold
so
move,
the
but it would be,
appropriation request never was voted
yeah.
by city council.
We'd make a bunch of
Thank
things
you.
right.
It's gonna be the 8th district.
They moved it that place.
2013 to 2018, and there's a recent appropriation, I think that's attached to this item. When was that filed through the chair?
Mr. McGurthy?
Through the chair, that's an item that's part of the capital budget. We requested $200,000 to go to Holmes Field that would be part of this same CSX funding source.
So through the chair to the administration, from 2018 to 2025.
No, Candy, the exact
released
opposite. We treat like all these surrounding towns like outer rim
Through
worlds,
the chair, there
where
were
we just put
no
them in complete corporate
funds
control. And
allocated
folks who already live
within
there,
the-
they would
by the
love
city
that.
council or appropriated.
They'd just be in
There were
heaven
smaller
having like
amounts that
Whole
were spent
Foods
by
managing
various
their
projects
existence
as
and
they
whatnot,
continue,
and we just reap
but
the
no new
rewards
funds have been committed
of their miserable
since
existence.
2018, other than this recommendation today of the Harding Street item and the Holmes Field item.
And through the chair to the administration,
Mining-
is there any
mining colonies.
neighborhood
Exactly.
input
I think the manager's
Resources.
through the chair?
Yeah, through the chair to the council, one of the things that I want to go back to the question you asked previously, some of the projects that are listed here in the terms of the
Exactly.
dates. is
Except
not
for
that
horse
projects-
beaches.
It's not the completion dates of the projects. The date that the funds.
That was a
were
miscalculation.
appropriated By the council, so some of the projects extended to 2022, 2023, et cetera. The current engagement right now has been directly with the district councilors that represents those areas to try to understand the priorities of the neighborhood.
If I
and
had stupid
have
money, I
discussions
would
with them in
buy
terms of what we
like
can
the
do
Buca de
moving forward.
Beppo
I know there's been a
building.
request.
Because
with
it-
District 2,
It
with the
still sits
neighborhoods
right there
as part
against
of
the
master
lake,
plan
and
for Holmes
it
Field
has such a
included
rad
lights,
looking
and so
spot
it's
that
an
you could
area
make
that
like
we
a
have come
whole
forward as
big,
part of
beautiful
this budget
area.
requesting the lights.
I know, it really
But
does
the
look cool.
conversations happen through the
And
district
the
council,
bridge
which they're
rehab is what
working in
killed it.
collaboration with the neighborhoods to understand the needs and what are the areas that we can make improvements.
Geo, they're all outside.
Through the
They
chair to the
didn't want to show their
administration,
IDs.
I had the question about.
Were there
neighborhood
protests?
input.
I don't think there were protests, were there?
No, I don't think so. And they're not allowed in City Hall.
No, you said, I wasn't asking about the district.
Mr.
Yeah.
Manager?
I was talking about
That,
the community
so,
input.
that
Again,
document that he said
work
was
with the
like,
with the district councilors as they work
a
through the neighborhood
long-standing
organizations
City Hall
and gaining
policy. I
neighborhood
checked the
input,
metadata
they
on the
provide
PDF, and it
Fair
was
enough.
created
what we
on
need to do.
June 11th of 2025 by
So nothing dispersed from
Alexandria
2018 to
Calcounis.
25 in terms of funding.
The file name is City
And that
Hall
includes nothing
Policy
towards ShotSpotter as well, is that
_0.
right?
Through the chair to the council, no, there's nothing.
Just such a
associated with
fucking
ShotSpotter.
weird lie,
Thank you,
dude.
Mr. Chairman. Just to
You've been
speak
doing
on
Worcester Sucks for 5
items
years
I have
already?
here, 13A, B, and D.
It's going to be 5 years on Thursday.
Would
That's
just
right.
like a copy
Holy
of those.
smokes, congratulations,
If they
man, that's
exist,
awesome.
the neighborhood
Yeah.
committee meetings. Also, a tracking mechanism, like an annual report on this particular
boo.
monies and the monies coming in and out. I think it makes sense for
I mean, we do need to have
oversight
that,
and
but-
transparency. In addition to that, you know, what exactly is the approach? So, you know, as you know, folks have been asking some of these questions that we're answering today. Nothing like this has come before us as a body, you know, in quite some time. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that the neighborhood group that's defunct, that was either sunsetted or ended, whatever the terminology may be, that in accord, there's nothing dispersed since 2018, and there's a lot of needs in these neighborhoods. And I'm sure the district councilors that we have here are fighting for those, but as an at-large councilor, it's good to know what those are so that we can be supportive as well when a constituent of mine that happens to live in District 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 comes, we should be able to point to items and documents that are available in the public sphere that folks can discuss in committee. And that's the purpose of all this, Mr. Chairman. Lastly, through the chair, with regards to
I got to work.
the concerns around our firehouses,
Ready?
do they have equipment to deal with issues with the CSX trains?
Uh-oh, it froze.
Is there
Oh,
a
come
concern? Do
on.
we have the appropriate equipment, et cetera, for our
Here we
firehouses
go.
as it relates
Front and
to
back.
those trains and all the challenges
Trippy.
that may come that way?
Yeah.
Through the chair.
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to
And
the
then
council, there has been no indication
do like
from
a
the chief and
360
his
view on the
team
front.
that they need additional equipment. And so I have
it,
full
like,
confidence that whatever
It
they
weirdly
have
like
in terms
zooms
of the
in
equipment
or
is
out,
be able to
and I haven't
provide
figured out
the
how to
service.
make it.
Thanks. We'd just like a report back on that, just confirmation that the firehouses have what they need to be in response to those.
I think it
to
might be an
those
auto
trains, Mr.
thing where it like
Chairman.
follows you around the room.
You're in your second 5.
Yep. That's all I have for now, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Carlson, followed by Council Russell.
Yeah, it like
Thank you,
zooms in on your
Mr.
face. It's
Chairman.
crazy. I'm not doing anything with
I
that.
know that in the last couple of years, there hasn't been a lot of talk about CSX. Councilor Russell and myself, along with several of my colleagues, did nothing but talk about CSX for several years with all of the, quite frankly, all of the damage
It'll follow you around,
from the
right?
CSX traveling on the roads through our districts. Power lines down, trees taken down, roads blocked on a continual basis.
This is better than
And
whatever
Mr.
Candy's talking
Chairman,
about, I promise.
As
Hello?
Mr. McGurthy just laid out about these funds, if we all recall, when CSX came into town, it was in 2010. We remember it well, and why do we remember it well? Because our neighborhoods were directly impacted.
Stupid.
We had several meetings at my house,
Camber, I
At
won't lie,
Vincent
I kind of
Pagani's
like the
house
coloring on this shirt.
in the Canal District, because again, the
What shirt?
Canal District was
Candy's.
impacted.
I would never wear it.
By the time these
but I would
neighborhoods
totally-
got
I would
these
totally put
funds,
it in
and
a
if people
painting.
recall, back in 2015, when I first got elected, because Holmes Field,
God, it's been 10 years of
the
you?
monies that was
10 years
promised
of you.
did not take place.
And not a year
The
more.
city did make good
Let's
for a portion of Holmes Field up there. At this point, the monies for the lights at Holmes Field
Oh, I can
was the
appreciate the
last
coloring.
vote
But
that
yes,
the committee took.
I don't think it makes a good shirt.
The last vote that the committee took. The committee consisted of the people from the Canal District as well as Shrewsbury Street. And quite frankly, Mr. Chairman, the last orders that were put, monies to be spent.
This is kind of
was done
grim
by
and
Gary
borderline
Vecchio.
inappropriate, but I
And we
can't
know
help as
Gary
we enter an
Vecchio
era of
passed
political
away.
violence. How, like, these
Just
folks
want
walked out
people
of the
to
door and
realize and
saying, like, think to
understand that the
themselves, this is
first
how I
10
hope to be
years of
remembered.
money was
Yeah.
bonded by the city of Worcester. For us to get the second 10 years of monies from CSX took us a tremendous amount
That's going on a whole
of
journey.
time and effort.
Yeah, ready?
This goes back to when
Society if
the
Candy Merrill
city
Carlson didn't
manager at
exist.
Augustus was here, and we just finally put this to a close with getting the monies from CSX.
Oh, I can upload pictures? This is awesome.
And quite honestly, the monies that was left in CSX,
You could steal
there was
back your view from City Hall.
$1,500 that was left in the Canal District monies. And if you look and follow, because there's not one piece of paper that I don't have on CSX. And again, the reason
my
for that
God.
is
No, shut up,
because
Kenny.
of
Don't
the
fucking
impact
Not
that it
one
had
piece of
in the
paper?
Brown Square,
Not one
Plantation
piece of
Street,
paper I don't
Hamilton
have.
Street, Shrewsbury Street neighborhood.
It just makes you sound like a hoarder.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that we finally do have the monies and that there's monies that now can be spent in the neighborhoods that have been impacted. I was
Whoa.
just with the folks at
I'm in the
Canal
Russell Dome.
District, and I know that
Oh,
Mr.
good
Dunn
Christ.
has also been working with the Canal District in regards to some additional monies
Me and
that,
George.
they would like.
Me and George
In
back here got a
regards to
fucking
the
bone to
Shrewsbury
pick.
Street Neighborhood Association and
You mess with
the
me,
folks
you
who
mess with my
live
spirit
at Mount
animal, the
Carmel,
walrus.
and the folks who are at
Me and George are gonna have a
Brown
big
Square.
problem with you if you
We're in
keep it up,
constant
Buster.
contact, and the money are again finally there. It isn't as if these monies have been sitting there and that there has been no need or no ask, because there certainly has been several asks. I'll remind
there's been
people
several
that
asks.
all of the safety measures on Shrewsbury Street, and again, I'll remind everybody in this chamber that every piece of safety that's been done on Shrewsbury Street has come out of CSX monies. We, the city, didn't
Oh, this is
pay
a good
for
one.
any of those lights. We, the city, didn't pay for any of those measures. That all came out of CSX money.
mysterious liquid.
So there's been a tremendous
Helen,
amount of work
mysterious
that
liquid.
has been done with the CSX monies. Has it been perfect? By no means. And if you were to ask people who live in, whether it's my neighborhood or the Shrewsbury Street neighborhood, and I know the Canal District, as well as I'm sure the folks on Grafton Street, do we and did we want CSX in our neighborhoods to do
This is
the
the
things
background for
that
sure.
has transpired? I don't think unless you live there, you realize how much
is
has
such a
happened
stupid city.
in these neighborhoods with all of these trucks going through the neighborhoods that, quite frankly, these trailers
Police.
don't fit in some of these neighborhoods.
You're in your next
So,
slide.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to.
We could fully
any
fund the Worcester
additional
Public Schools
information
if we just
on
cut superfluous
CSX.
vowels
Thank you.
from the budget.
Thank you. Council Russell.
Wait,
Mr.
everybody's
Chairman,
showing off.
You know,
You're in the
some days,
dystopian future
during
too?
The early part of my service here as a District 3 councilor, I think all I did was talk and bang on the table about CSX, about the truck traffic, about the impact that it made. Mr. Chairman, this is nothing new, this way of dealing with things, the way the manager is doing, it's the same thing that his predecessors did. My memory is that committee was put together, first of all, when they talk about the three neighborhoods, they talk about Grafton Hill being one of the three, but only one problem, only a portion of that is.
That doesn't
District
come
3.
through on
Some
this-
of it is
on
in
my speaker, right?
Council Carlson's
Yeah.
District 2. So it was.
What,
it
the
was
thing that I'm playing right now?
City manager.
I don't hear it right now, but I heard it a
Bryan
second ago.
chose-
Oh, that was
he
me a
did
second
ask
ago.
myself
Oh, no,
and
never mind.
the counselor at the time.
How about
Councilor
3, 2,
Palmieri, I
1?
believe he asked it. I know he asked me.
No.
For recommendations.
Okay.
For that committee because there were so many different requests. And he wanted some some input. And I think it was in the MOU, but it was only for that initial funds. It was to make the decision and get out of the way. Councilor Paul Clancy, my predecessor, was chosen by City Manager O'Brien as the chairman of that committee because of his not being in town in the winter months. The vice chairman, former state rep Vincent Pedoni, led many of those meetings in the absence because he was the vice chairman. And quite frankly, I think they did a great job, and they got a ton of requests. And, you know, I remember our late Commissioner of Public Works, Paul Moosey, saying to me one time,
Oh, God.
you could tell
What
if
the hell is he
the
drawing out
federal
about?
government or CSX
Who fucking
paid for
knows,
it
dude?
by
CSX.
looking around, by looking if it's the fancy light
all these
poles, if
people
it's
so
the
much.
stamped sidewalk.
I remember a time in our city where
Those
there
are
was a
things
chance
that
we were going to
CSX
have
that
this
was
really
originally
cool
done
skate
by
park
part of
underneath the
MOU,
CSX overpass that would have been
administratively. That wasn't
protected
done
by
the
the elements.
The only thing the neighborhood
A bunch of
committee
idiots
did was
blocked
give
it.
recommendations to the city manager on that $1 or $2 million item that, because they had so many requests on. So that was the beginning and end of it. Mr. Chairman, I wasn't too happy with some of the suggestions that the manager went along with, or that committee
Mr.
went
Chairman.
along with, primarily because of ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter was the original area for ShotSpotter. A big portion was paid for out of this before we had ShotSpotter anyplace else. And then immediately after, the city manager at the time, Manager O'Brien, came in with ShotSpotter for other areas of the city through the tax levy. And I complained to him and said, hey, why are you using general funds there and you're using the CSX money in these areas? So this is not it wasn't a
George has been a
kumbaya
counselor since
moment. There were a
O'Brien.
lot of arguments and debates.
That's kinda
along the
heavy.
way. Many of the small improvements that were done, and this whole
I didn't realize it'd been that long.
concept of these advisory committees is nothing new. We have on the other side of District 3, the previously who are now defunct.
Shots,
the
Spotty.
landfill committee. When Councilor King wakes up in the morning and he looks out the window to the park that's next to his home, him and all the residents in that neighborhood will look at the Greenwood Park, and they'll see many of the improvements in that were paid for with the landfill committee, the tipping funds from that committee. So these are all done, in my understanding, over the years that I've been here, administratively with some advisory
Police.
Opinions. Opinions from the district councilors and from the
Can I interest you in
neighborhoods,
some
and
police?
There's just so many dollars to go around.
Oh,
It's
you
not
got a
big
social problem in your
but
mid-sized
we've done what we can do,
deindustrializing
we'll
city?
continue to do, but more
Could I
importantly than
interest you
anything,
perhaps in some
we've dealt with the
police
traffic,
for that?
We've dealt with the disruption, the work that's been done by the state of Massachusetts and our own traffic
Oh,
engineers.
do you need
has
some,
made a major impact.
do you need to
with
light a
the
big
CSX
pile of money on
traffic,
fire?
because now, when someone is on
so that
coming from Boston, and
jocks
they're
from your
putting in
high
their phone,
schools
how do I
can
get to
buy
CSX?
houses in the
On
surrounding
GPS,
suburbs?
It's telling them to do what they were supposed to do, which was go
And
on
drunk
290.
drive a lot?
Those are some
Might
of the
I
major
interest you in
improvements that we've seen. But,
police?
Mr. Chairman, I welcome the input. I've been lobbying the manager for some more expenditures from this fund. There isn't much there from our side of the district and from Grafton Hill, but this is nothing new. This is
Completely unrelated from embarrassingly mismanaged local government. Any of you that live over on the west side, start checking FiOS to see if you're eligible. I signed up, been almost a month now,
So
Oh,
we'll
yeah?
take the item,
over in Tatnick, and it's
economic
fucking
development.
great.
Is it good? Is it way better?
So the thing that's nice
Chairman,
is your
just a
equal
question through the
upload
administration,
download speeds. So for like
clarifications. I
Stream,
know there was
it's
some
I think
discussion
it's
about
nice. Like there's
Shrewsbury
probably
Street
more
and all the
bandwidth,
great work
like
that was done there from
heading out
Miscellany and
to be able
some
to handle
other
video and whatnot.
locations.
Yeah.
I find it lagging.
Through
a
the
lot.
City Administration, was there any new projects or appropriations since
I find the
2018
consistency way better though too. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if
from
that'll
these
change
funds?
as they start bringing on more customers on our node. I was
The reason I asked, Mr.
number
Chairman,
three
I know some
on our
of the
node,
Shrewsbury
so it's
stuff
like
is
clearly got a
seemingly
little overhead there. But
appropriation. Money was appropriated in 2015, 10 years ago. I'm just trying to be clear that there's been no new.
Yeah, they just lit
projects
up
or
over and
appropriations
started
since
lighting up over in
2018
Tatnick
until
too.
this, I don't know
Or I
what this
guess
is before
this side
today.
of this far side of
Sounds
Tatnick.
Through the chair, there are two
My-
recommended
my neighborhood does
appropriations
not.
within
Today.
this memo today
All the folks that I worked with to get set up said they are moving a lot faster than they have been over
that was approved back in the day by the
the
committee,
last
but,
couple of years.
was never approved by the city council, and then the
Sick.
Holmesfield Lights, which is being recommended today and is part of the capital budget.
So is there any new projects or appropriations since 2018 prior to what's before us today?
Through the chair, the city council has not appropriated any money since that time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I heard today is that the
I did,
neighborhood
Gio. That was all they were
advisory
offering
committee
was one gig. The
exemplary.
guy, again, the folks that I talked to said that they
a
don't
couple of
currently have any plans
leaders,
to
Gary
move
Vecchio,
Worcester
may
up
rest
to
in
2 gig
peace,
service. And it's
Vincent
partly
Bordoni,
because they are not at a
and
point
that
where they can
aspect of this
start
was
bringing in the
helpful.
cable side of things
And,
or the TV side of things that they're
I-
offering
this is
to
not
really compete with Charter because of
questioning
the
the
contract.
district councilors.
They said they're more likely going
District
to
councils have been very clear that they are on
move
top
up
of this,
to
and that
jump
they
straight to
have
10
all
gigs
sorts
because
of
it's really just a
information
software
from the
update
community.
on their end
This is a
and hardware in the
transparency
home.
issue, Mr. Chairman, and would like to get some of those reports back. I would suggest that this is not an order or a motion, but I would suggest that the city manager duly consider a neighborhood advisory committee be reinstituted. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, Councilor Russell referenced the park next to my house, and a number of those folks who
Well, that's a
worked
steep
on
price.
that,
Yeah, I was.
including my neighbor.
I think it's 89 now if you
worked
sign
really
up.
hard.
For it. It's locked
with the
in for
district
5
council
years.
as a formal part
But,
of a neighborhood group.
I think it was
You
89.
know,
They did throw a ton
not
of
everyone
like
goes to
$400
neighborhood
worth
meetings,
of
Mr.
like
Chairman.
Verizon,
And,
prepaid
again,
credit
as
card.
an at-large counselor,
A
through
free
my
Nintendo
district
Switch,
also, all
first
these
gen,
districts
but who's
and these
complaining?
streets.
I'll probably.
And
Yeah.
my question
I
to
can
the
have
chair,
Fortnite in
again,
2
with the
rooms.
Harding Street improvements.
Whoa.
And then
if we
a
don't, we can get a report
kind
back
of
on that.
ridiculously oversized
What was the
JBL
nature
like
of that?
party
Because
speaker.
Harding
That's
Street
also like a karaoke
is a challenge. Harding and Millbury over there are
Yeah, that's
challenges.
sick.
Folks call Millbury Street
Not that
Misery
back to
Mile.
motorcycles and shit.
What do we know what those were, and is there an opportunity to take a look at Harding Street again through the chair?
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, I think what happened at Harding Street was that the state was gonna make improvements to Kelly Square. They made improvements to Water Street and Green Street. And so the city took it upon to utilize these dollars to make improvements at Harding Street, which is
Okay.
shifting it from a one-way where it used to be a two-way, and then improvements to the sidewalks, et cetera.
Okay, and there was no vote on that, right? Through the chair from the council?
Through the chair to the council, that is correct.
So 300,000, and we didn't have a say on that. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We'll take that item, change to the economic development and the audit.
Oh, you know what? That's what it is, Gio. I'm not Verizon for cell service. There was an extra discount for that would have brought it down, but I did get the discount for auto payment.
10.39 out of order just to file it? So that you
Yeah, I think it's 89 if you're auto payment, and then it did bump down significantly more if I had other
10.39?
Verizon services, which I
Report on
don't.
Discover Central Mass. Motion to file.
Okay.
Oh, George, you back down on Discover
At
Central
your
Mass?
chair,
Come on.
Mr. Chair.
Please recognize Council Priscilla has accused herself. Okay, so the motion, what was the motion?
Why did
File,
she?
motion
Oh,
to
yeah, because she
file.
works for Paul Giorgio.
10.39, those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Thank you.
Is this for the 500,000 we just filed, Mr. Chairman?
No, that's,
Oh, okay. That was clarification.
okay, okay, so that's filed. What do we leave off? B, so we're on 10.26B.
Yeah, you have to vote on the budget.
To those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
And he just needed a walk.
We're on 10.26B. Okay, we're on B, transfer information communication under the fiscal year 2025 fiscal update as of March 31st, 2025, and the next item is as of April 30th, 2025. And send both of those reports, A, B, and C, to MO. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay, next item is 10.32A, transfer information communication of the electric vehicle charging stations crowdsource map. You can send to the Urban Ties. Look forward to that report coming out when it comes out. And all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transfer information communication relative to the Green Worcester Plan 2024 annual report. Send that to Council Russell.
Mr. Chairman, I support sending this as recommended, but I just want to say that recently in the neighborhood that I live in the Broadmeadow Brook area, there was door hangers left on the door from folks, and there's been survey work and all kinds of things. So I'm just asking formally for a report on what this all is going on in the area, and if it has anything to do with this Green Worcester plan, because it looks like it does to me when you read the definition, but the information that I've received and the neighborhood has received says that it's not, and it's a whole different animal. So we just want to ask about that. And the main thing is that before neighborhood decisions are made, we should be making sure that they're pulled out and vetted properly. That's all. I'm asking for a report if this has to do with the work in the neighborhood. Thank you.
We'll send that to Urban Ties, and along with the report by Councilor Russell. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay, next item up is recommend the adoption of an order to authorize the City of Worcester to enter into a contract for the lease of a data center co-location services, a term of up to 10 years, to ensure the core infrastructure of services. Adopting a roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council G.A.?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mark Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Basillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Next item's up, we have finance items, 10.35A through F, 10.36A through J, 10.37A. Take collectively on a roll call. Prior to doing so, Council Bergman.
Just quickly, thank you, Mr. Chairman. 10.35C, I know you were amongst several of us that attended the recent 25th anniversary of the Senior Center. And it was a great program, and I see there's an item here regarding a grant or a donation from the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources to install a new kitchen there. I just wanted to mention that perhaps in light of the upgrades there in the 25th anniversary, that we do something in recognition of that at a future meeting.
Okay. Thank you. So take those items collectively on a roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council G.A.?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mark Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Basillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Yes. You're on Chairman's orders 11A to 11GG. Motions to adopt. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Brings us to 12A. That the City Council, the City of Worcester does hereby approve the following framework to be used to conduct the annual performance evaluation of the city manager beginning on June of 2025. And I think everybody's got a copy of that. Is that Council Bergman?
Again, just briefly, Mr. Chairman, there was definitely some input from some colleagues that they were not as satisfied as they wanted to be with the previous evaluation document. I think the document we had in committee, although not perfect, I think it's definitely an improvement. It does cover a lot of categories. Everybody's had a chance, I hope, to look at it. They were not covered in the past. It does dig deeper, subset of questions into each category, and I think it's an improvement on what we had, a great improvement on what we had. So I hope my colleagues will consider allowing this to be used. If it doesn't, I think we would have to default back to the previous evaluation, which I don't think is nearly as thorough. I'm certainly open to suggestions. There's a lot here, and certainly in the time constraints of a committee and limited number of people at a committee, we don't always catch everything, or certainly we don't always cover everything that could be said or changed. But again, I think this is a vast improvement over what we've had in the past, and I hope it meets with the satisfaction of my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Council King?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I stand in support of this particular item. Certainly, I've been working towards establishing a rubric for this council for close to 3 years or more. I appreciate the committee taking up that work. I appreciate the new item filed this term in pursuit of exactly that, and just for public purposes. This, again, is a framework. It's a referential tool. You know, is what we're looking for. There's going to be hopefully opportunities and no more impediments as relates to continuing to improve this particular rubric, Mr. Chairman. And I look forward to a rubric for the other positions that we hire, auditor and clerk, Mr. Chairman. Hopefully we won't get any further pushback on that either. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll hold that till next week.
So, Mr. Mayor, for procedurally, you want to adopt 12A, and then we'll bring under suspension tonight for the next meeting, the manager's self-evaluation.
Okay. Okay, roll call.
So 12A, to adopt the form, Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Basillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes, so we'll take that as a suspension to bring to next week's meeting?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Build
it's
that up.
clarification. So the manager's
Ridiculous
self-evaluation
Toomey
will be
post,
added
yeah.
to the minutes from today's meeting, and then will be held.
Ridiculous
to be
what?
discussed at the next meeting.
Ridiculous Toomey post, the one behind you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it still up?
12B to 12U?
Yeah, on her feed. I'm
I
still
don't
curious
think
if
it
it was
I'd
just
like to
like
take a
she was accidentally
number of
typing
these
the search
separately,
bar or something. It was,
if possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it is,
I'd
but
like
I'm
to take
blocked, so
12B,
it gets hard.
C,
Mm.
D, F, G.
Yeah, go ahead, 12A then, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to take some of those separately, 12J, if possible.
No, go ahead, 12A, you're up.
12B, I meant.
I'm sorry,
We just
12B.
did 12A. Yeah, I'm ready to take it. I'm ready to take the vote on that.
Oh, separately?
Yeah, take a
Oh, I
separate
see.
12B.
Talk, right, okay. 12B is whether a majority of 2/3 in terms of present members of the council as a whole. Okay, so 12B, roll call. What's that?
B as in boy?
Yes.
12B, Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji? Council King?
No.
Council Merrill Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Basillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Next one is 12C, report with detail on the city charter requires public participation to open to non-Worcester residents. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Probably doing so, Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am not in support of this particular item. I have significant concerns. This is in my opinion, another attempt to limit public participation and transparency. That's been an ongoing theme this particular term, even going back to the budget process and reducing elected participation there. With respect to this, I'm not quite sure how we would identify non-Worcester residents. Are we going to ask for their papers? I'm not quite sure. I'm extremely concerned about going along with this for folks who have businesses here who are able to lobby the council from the floor. I'm very concerned about the spirit of this, Mr. Chairman, and I will not be voting for this because it will do nothing but quell, and it's sending a message that us looking for this informational request will quell public participation. We are currently living in an environment where people don't feel safe. And, you know, we're talking about Worcester residents, who's a resident, who's not a resident. How are we going to determine that? How are we going to determine that, Mr. Chairman? Are we trying to scare people away from civic engagement and public participation? I would think not. I will not be voting in support of this motion to file, Mr. Chairman.
If motion filed.
Mr. Chair.
Councilor Pasillo, followed by Councilor Haji.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to echo Councilor King's concerns. Just logistically, anyone could say they live in Worcester, so I don't understand how you could prove it. And then my other question through the chair to the clerk is, I thought people who work in Worcester are also allowed to speak at public participation. Is that true or no?
Through the chairs of council, I can review the charter, but my understanding city employees are allowed. So if you're a
Okay.
city of Worcester employee, you have the opportunity to speak at every city council meeting.
Okay, thank
The
you.
solicitor can jump in if I'm incorrect.
Okay.
If you're a city of Worcester employee, you're not supposed to have opinions on.
Councilor Haji.
Every time there's a business
We
matter,
want
in
to voice
front of the
some
council,
concerns about this.
out of towners.
If I remember correctly, in my time being elected to city council and
What about that
prior,
guy that was in? He's from New
was
Hampshire.
observing,
Bruce.
We have had people who have.
Oh,
called,
yeah.
And
Bruce Hoffner?
participated, experts, national experts, folks that don't live in Worcester, who have participated in city council items and provided their testimony. So what I see this order do is limit not only participation on folks that have a right to speak to representatives, but also of people who are experts in their field and who we often call to provide testimony. So unless the chair of the committee would like to provide some clarification as to what prompted this, I also plan to vote no, and I would caution this council about taking actions that are severely limiting public participation and sending a very strong negative message to anyone that wants to speak to their elected representatives.
Okay. Councilor Bergman.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't anticipate such feelings on an item that's asking for a report only. And unless there's a report that's already been delivered that says things that I don't expect it to say, this isn't intended to limit speech or to prevent people from giving their point of view. But the city charter talks about residents and those employed by the city, just like the clerk says. It doesn't talk about anyone else as having a right to public participation. If you go to other communities, they clearly find a way. I know it seems like from some of the comments, it's going to be impossible to determine who's a resident and who isn't, but other communities do that. I've been part of other communities where if you don't live there, or if you don't work for the community, you just don't get public participation available to you unless the chair, suspends the rules, which is always an option, no matter what we do. But we've been limiting now, and I think it's for the better, public participation to a certain number of minutes, and we've been limiting each person to a certain number of minutes. If we take the certain number of minutes we're allowing everybody to speak, and we divide it by people that don't live in Worcester on a hot topic, we're going to either have to suspend the number of minutes we give everybody to speak, or we're going to have to suspend the total time we have for public participation. Those are issues that are worth considering. Again, this is a report. This isn't asking that we do this, but the charter clearly says something different than the city
So let's open up
rules
the
say
charter.
about who's eligible to participate, public
Yeah.
participation. By the way, you're going to see other items on here that were discussed in MLO too that I think some people might find surprising. The charter doesn't say when public participation is supposed to be. Some people do it at the beginning, some communities do it at the end. It doesn't also say how many minutes we have to have. We've established that by rule, but it doesn't say in the charter how many minutes we have to say. So we've decided along the way what works best for the city. And I just think we need to consider whether or not somebody from another community that doesn't work for the city of Worcester and doesn't live here should have a right to weigh in when we only have 30 minutes for public participation. It's a question. If people are that offended by that question, then so be it. But I think it's a legitimate question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilor Pasillo. Councilor Pasillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a clarifying question. So it's just a report, giving us information. And when we get the report, it would then go back to MLO, where it would have to be voted on there and then come back up to us. So this is simply a report asking for the city solicitor's opinion through the chair to the city solicitor, how are you going to, what are you basing this opinion off of?
Madam Solicitor?
It's a law.
Through the chair to the counselor, the report asks for what the charter requires, so I would review the charter and provide an opinion or an interpretation of the language in the charter.
Okay. Nothing would change with public participation if we get a report back through the chair to the city solicitor.
Through the chair, that's correct. It would just be a report, informational.
Okay. And I would like to say, I mean, I always call myself a public participation purist, and I take notes on every single person that speaks at public participation. And, you know, aside from the really big meetings, which I know we have had quite a few, but
Is that kind of like the way Elon
nearly
Musk is
every
a
single person
excellence?
says they're from Worcester. But thank you so much.
Council Haji?
So again, I'm really confused about this. You chair, to the city clerk or to the city solicitor, does the charter currently say that as an elected official, I cannot explicitly call an expert in a field who doesn't live in Worcester, who's not a Worcester resident, to testify in front of city council?
Through the chair to the councilor, I think the solicitor can jump in, but my understanding, the charter says Worcester residents are allowed to testify in city council meetings, city employees. When it comes to experts, usually the experts brings a report, either through the city manager or through a certain committee, and they present that report. Or they can ask the chair of the committee or of the council, which is the mayor, to come in and present on a certain topic on city council.
So through the chair, what I'm hearing is that the city charter does not specify, neither prohibits any of us elected officials from inviting an expert in a field, a professional, someone who wants to speak on a particular policy that the city of Worcester is considering. And so what I draw from that conclusion is that we're going to get a report on the city council, and there's going to be a majority of people here who are going to vote to limit public participation. And again, I am going to emphasize for the public, there is absolutely no reason that would prompt an order like this to come to city council. We're wasting taxpayer dollars by having the city solicitor give us an opinion that we know it's absolutely not necessary. Again, I am going to vote no, and I'm going to support Councilor King's motion to file this. I want to make sure people understand that what we're being asked to potentially vote on is limit public participation on anyone that, as an elected official, I have the right to call to provide testimony on a policy or a series of policies that City Council has up for consideration.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Councilor Ojeda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
on that committee.
Same.
I think it's a better, for me, it's just an understanding.
I also have a suspicion that Jose is putting up signs without asking people's permission, but I can't.
Yeah. He probably is.
A bunch of signs have popped up in between houses, in kind of like a no man's land between two houses. And I want to own that it's very possible that's just where the homeowners want them. It just seems like all of a sudden there's a bunch.
Conflict that we're having here to understand, what's needed or what we're looking forward to do.
And if I remember the last cycle, there was some claims that there were people having their signs replaced with his signs. I don't remember how credible that was, but
There's also understanding.
it was a claim.
The claims were made.
Trying to work with the charter for quite some time, in MLO and understanding, what policies, what changes need to be made. So, I'll be honest with you, I'm on the fence with this. But at the same time, I'm glad we're here having this conversation. I think it's important to understand it. It's not about, again, it's a report understanding where we're at. I don't think we were in our meeting with the focus on not letting anyone speak that's not from the city of Worcester. We have many people from the outside, landlords that don't live in the city, people that work in our city.
Landlords.
For the city.
That's the first one you think
I
of,
don't
huh?
wanna limit their opportunities.
Yeah, let's not limit the voice of landlords.
Well, yeah, we can't. We have. Well,
Thank you.
we can't have
Those special
landlords
voices.
not being able to speak.
I'll be quick. I appreciate the work that the municipal operations
Mr. Mayor.
has done on this particular matter and looking at the chart and all these items. This is just asking for a report. I'm not a big fan of limiting people. I don't know how you, a sense a lot of communities do it, but just like was pointed out, we have land, we have business owners here in the city of Worcester who have some say in the matter, may not live here, but may have different.
Just business owners, nobody else.
Ownership in the city of Worcester. May not be
George
residents of Worcester,
Seption,
but that's something.
you're rad.
I'll
We
support
got to
the
stand it
report,
back
see what
up.
it says,
It's
and we'll
temporarily
discuss it
down.
there. So, thank you.
What's temporarily done?
Our merch store. So we were doing print on demand
Thank you, Mr.
stuff,
Chairman. To
and
the
with all
chair,
the
to the
tariff
administration,
nonsense, all the
what,
pricing got all
tools
skewed up.
do we
So it was
have
easier just to close it because
identify
we really
and
weren't moving
determine the
anyway.
residence of a potential speaker through the chair.
But I got to sort through that. So thanks for the reminder, George Seption.
Who's that to?
Administration.
Madam Solicitor?
Through the chair to the counselor, we currently don't ask for proof of residency. But there are other cities or towns that, have you state your address, or we're not asking for an ID to see where you're from.
Through the chair to the manager, what tools do we have to determine and validate someone's residence?
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, when it comes to city council meetings, right now, currently, we don't have any tools. When it comes to boards and commissions, depending on the applications, the individual just has to be a resident of the city for a year.
Thanks,
They don't
buddy.
have to be a USA citizen, they just have to be a resident of the city. And so they need to provide proof of address, that they live here. But other than that, there's no other mechanisms.
Through the chair to the administration, what are proofs of address?
Proofs of address could be an ID, it can be a formal ID, Massachusetts state ID, federal ID, it could be a bill, something that proves where they currently live.
Yes, through the chair to the solicitor, perhaps. Is there anything in the charter that limits public participation based on residence?
I was going to go get public participation, but I
Through the chair
forgot
to
my
the
national
counselor,
grid
the
bill.
charter requires public comment. This is for the public portion of the meeting, the public comment portion by employees and residents. That's all the charter states.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The charter requires
Yeah, seriously.
public participation
That
and
lunatic
comment
in
by residents
Minnesota
and
went through
employees.
public record to find people's homes.
Is there anything in the charter that indicates that someone who's not in the category cannot participate?
Through the chair, no.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
That was weird.
I got to be honest with you. This isn't simply a request for an order. This is scary. This is poor timing in this city, in this state, in this country, in this time, in these times. This is extremely, extremely concerning. Again, how are we gonna know?
These times.
You have to show your green card, gotta show your ID, gotta show your light bill. What are we really talking about? If this was simply a request for reports, one thing. This, Mr. Chairman, is sending a message. And it's a message that's come out of this committee. It's come out of this body, and I'm part of this body. So you can say it comes from me too. It comes from us limiting public participation. And we know what's been going on. We've had folks very, very aggressive towards councilors and the mayor, and myself and other electeds over these past many months. But this isn't the answer, Mr. Chairman. This is not the message, Mr. Chairman. You know, we've heard the term outside agitators. That's thrown all around by Donald Trump. It's thrown around by some of our elected officials. It's thrown around by some of our community members.
Outside
Folks,
agitators.
and I'll
It's
reiterate,
true.
the recent ICE raids target Black and brown communities.
More comparisons
Look at
between
them.
Mo Bergman and Donald Trump.
Hispanic and Latino communities, African communities, Caribbean communities, period. And now when you bring up that word resident, you think folks are gonna come and participate? They live here, they wanna use the park, they have a question, they're not coming. This is not the message, Mr. Chairman. And I don't believe that members of this committee, some members of this committee, considered all of this. I hope they do consider, Mr. Chairman. But again, there's been a flurry of actions this term, reducing public participation and transparency. I hope this gets filed right where it belongs.
Councilor Russell?
Mr. Chairman, to be honest with you, I mean, I was chairman of Rules Committee when we brought in the public participation. Before that.
George has been on a nostalgia trip tonight.
There was.
He's told us a lot about the
rules
things
of
he's
committee,
done.
The council, we had to suspend the rules every time anybody wanted to talk. So this council, over the years that I've been here, has done nothing but welcome public participation. But I personally take great offense on behalf of my colleagues and myself when people are making the accusation using words like green card, like we're gonna put a light in people's face and ask them for a green card or an ID.
No, you just
That's
won't
not
stop
what's
anybody who
happening.
is going to do
I
that.
understand it's election time. I'm not involved in it, and people want to say things.
Then why are you up talking?
Publicity. But
Yeah.
that's not what's going on here.
Fucking shut up.
The committee is asking for a report for some information. I don't think we've had this conversation about whether reports should be asked for or not on a multiple of different things. May I speak, or are you going to interrupt me and heckle me like the guy did at Blythewood? You know? I think what we need to do.
Was that King heckling him?
going forward is this council is talk about how we prioritize giving people in the city, our residents, a chance to be heard when sometimes other people, many other people, want to be loud and want to push the residents out off to the side. And quite frankly, this council needs to get some work done. It's that simple. We need to do our jobs as councilors. And maybe we should think about other alternatives going forward for opportunities for people that are residents, non-residents, business people, all people, to have an opportunity to be heard, but maybe not on this forum, because we need to get our jobs, that we need to do our jobs.
This is the public-facing part of the job, dickhead.
It's different, but we can't take everything to heart and say that just because the members of this committee asked for a simple report.
You do the job
that they're
outside of the
somehow being
chamber.
devious or are going to be asking for IDs. That's not fair to them, and it's not fair to this community.
Okay, anybody else unspoken, or Councilor Toomey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As the charter sits, and perhaps our solicitor, I don't know if she's still here. As the charter sits,
Not that short.
as it's written, could we prevent someone from speaking?
That's, I
The
think
way
that's
it
what
is
you,
written,
I think that's the analysis you're gonna do. Report.
without changing anything, I think.
Through the chair to the counselor, the charter only requires citizens and employees.
So
presumably, if you wanted to really figure out if someone was a resident, you could.
So perhaps if this report comes back, we could have more clarifying language that would be more inclusive. It depends. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions.
Just asking
Wasting
questions.
more resources.
Just asking questions.
Okay, we're gonna
Holy
suspend the
shit.
rules if people have spoken twice. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman,
Does the
Yes.
charter prevent dogs
Gloria?
from speaking at the
Councilor
council?
GA?
If so, does it have
Yang?
to be licensed in the
Councilor
city of
Carlson?
Worcester?
Councilor Yang, Councilor Ojeda?
Just asking
Councilor
questions.
Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Just asking questions.
Councilor Toomey? Mayor Petty?
Yes, Councilor Hajia.
I wasn't planning on speaking on this, but since they came up, as
You're also
my
fucking stupid. I
colleague,
guess I have to.
on this part here, speaks of accusations, I find it extremely ironic that on this council floor, for months now, I've been fighting for transparency and truth around things that colleagues on this council have said against myself and Councilor Nguyen. And we treat accusations quite with a double standard. A member of this city council had the audacity to publicly accuse me, I want to speak for myself, but also other members of the city council, of causing a riot, putting a target on my back, as many other people in the community have done. A member of this city council had the audacity to spread lies and accusations without a single shred of evidence. And we're talking about elections now?
Libel
Is that what we're
suit.
doing on this city council? Councilor King is right. Folks on this city that are afraid to go out on the street to come participate here because we have metal detectors outside and police officers outside and security outside. And now we have reports on signage and how to behave here. But nobody on this council, including this administration, has taken a single concern about the safety of members of this council who have been accused publicly without a shred of evidence. It needs to stop. Councilor Merrill Carlson needs to stop.
Yes.
Okay. Stop. Okay. Councilor King? I'm sorry, Councilor Correa?
I really wasn't going to speak, but I have to say a few words.
Shut up.
First of
Nobody
all,
cares.
This wasn't
last
stupid enough.
week, there were two women that came to the city council meeting. They watched the city council meeting. They're very, good civic people. They said, "Oh, I think I'm going to come to a city council meeting because I've never been to one."
They're very good civic people.
Because of the actions and the intimidation and the rioters and the
What rioters?
insanity of last week's.
God, that fucking pisses
You're
me off.
right. They will never come again. They will never come again.
Oh,
But that wasn't
yes.
because
Keep
of
talking.
a
Keep
rule
talking.
that we made. That's not because of a
They'll
report.
never
last
come
week.
again.
That was because of the audience last week. They will never
shut
come
the
again. And they will never speak up in public forums. Not because of an MO ruling, an MO request, no, because of the rioters that were here.
What
last week.
rioters?
So
God,
that's what we're
drives me
talking about. We
insane.
want people to come here, then the nonsense from last week needs to stop.
The nonsense from last. Oh my god, I just.
Get out of the civic process if you don't like it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My motion remains to file this. Again, this sends the wrong message to our community. And again, this will be chilling, Mr. Chairman. I need to respond to this idea about elections. We're talking about the condition of our city. We're talking about the condition of our city. We're not talking about anything other than that, Mr. Chairman. This is about not sending a message that anyone would have to have a concern about proving themselves to this
That was the
council when
most
they come to
emphatic we've seen her
participate,
speak in
Mr.
months.
Chairman. It's interesting that this has elicited such a response from some of my colleagues who regularly vote against reports. If it's reports about ShotSpotter, if it's reports about the DOJ, if it's a report, and they're standing up here acting like they don't vote against reports. This, Mr. Chairman, let's get on the right side of history here. Even if you agree that perhaps this is something that should be explored, this is not the time. This is not the time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. All set? All set? Okay, the motion to file takes precedence. Motion to file?
Council Bergman?
No.
Council Calorio?
No.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mara Carlson? No. Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
No.
Council Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty?
No.
Hey, another 6-5 vote showing that none of that conversation mattered at all.
The following people voted yes. Council Haji King, Ojeda, Pasillo. No. Council Bergman, Calorio, Merrill Carlson, Russell, Toomey, and Mayor Petty.
Motion to hold, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion to hold under privilege?
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order. I have no issue if somebody wants to hold it, but we already started to vote on it. So I don't know.
You want to make up a new rule?
What?
We making up a new rule?
We're getting spicy,
I'm
boys.
gonna respond to
No,
some
go
of
ahead. Finish
some
your
of the things
comments,
that were said before. So I'm not gonna entertain more foolishness, but I'm just trying to get an answer from the city solicitor or from the clerk as to whether or not, once we started a vote, we're allowed to hold it. That's all.
You've done it.
Clear on that.
I'm almost certain you've done it.
Mr. Mayor, so Rule 29
it's
says
really
single
stupid.
member holds under the city charter. So Section B says, on the first occasion, the question of adopting a measure is put before the city council, except an emergency measure, if a single member objects to taking the vote shall be postponed until the next regular or special meeting of the city council,
Most done that a
when
million
the
times.
matter is next taken up for a vote. If that happens again, then 4 votes need to be object in order for that to push another meeting. So procedurally, and the solicitor can
so
jump
he's
in
not
this
making
if
up
she
rules.
chooses to do so, we already took a vote. Now the motion is in limbo.
Could he repeat that, please? The very last part of that, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
read that again?
Just the very last part.
So we took a vote to file.
Yes.
That vote failed, so there has to be an action at this point on this item.
So we continue with the vote, is what you're saying?
That is my understanding based on Rule 29.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so the motion then is to.
They didn't take a vote on the item, though. They took a vote on the motion.
not hold it, yeah.
Right. They took. Oh wow, that's a good
Council
point.
Bergman?
Yes.
Point of order.
I'm not
Point of
clear
order.
about
Yes.
what was said, Mr. Chair.
Point of order.
There's some confusion
Point of
confusion
order.
on this.
I'm holding on to personal privilege. I understand what we're doing, what we're voting on.
So he just explained the rule. Do you want to explain
The
it
rule
again?
was a motion to adopt, which was not before us, is my understanding. But God, I'll listen again.
Through the chair to the council, I am not the parliamentarian of the meeting. The chair interprets the rules. What was stating is Rule
a
29,
great thing to say
single
when
member
you're,
hold under the city charter.
When you're wrong.
Section B, on the first occasion that the question of adopting any measure is put to the city council except the emergency measure, if a
That
single
wasn't the
member
motion to
objects to
adopt. That
taking the
was
vote,
a separate motion
the
to file.
vote shall be postponed until the next regular or special meeting of the city council, when the matter is taken for a vote again. So at this point, you already started the voting process, your motion to file failed.
Now it's a motion to adopt, and I'm objecting and holding on the personal privilege, as you just referenced in the rule.
And again, that's interpretation of the city council, not mine.
Okay, I see that. I see that.
Can the
Jeez.
city solicitor weigh in to the chair?
This
Madam
isn't the
Solicitor?
first time we've done this. We've done this many times over the last decade.
We have, so we'll hold this under privilege.
Oh, Joe just admitted it.
Oh, Joe, back down. He backed it down.
Madam Solicitor.
Through the chair is a request to hold the item.
Yes.
Yes, so through the chair, the vote to file it failed. You now proceed either to hold or to adopt. You can hold the item
Under
under the
privilege?
single member privilege.
Okay. So motion is held under single member privilege.
So Nico was wrong.
So Nico was wrong.
Okay. Next
In
item up is
a way that
12,
benefited Joe Petty.
I think we're on D, is it? 12D, roll call.
That's awesome. What a fucking bullshit city we live
Yeah.
in. Joe May just said yeah to me.
Into the building.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
He was reaching out
Yes.
from, he was reaching out
No.
from across.
Council King?
No.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes.
What was that vote on? I'm confused now.
A,
Yeah, I
B,
missed
C,
it.
and D. Okay. So the rest of the items from E through U, motion is to adopt.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to take
One item?
12F
F?
and G separately as well.
Okay.
I think that's where they are now.
Okay.
Segura.
F, roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Ajay? No. Council King?
No.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. And G was the other one?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on that.
G is provide council with a report concerning the order of the residents in the city council when placing items on the city council agenda. Council King?
Just asking for clarification on what this actually means before I vote on it.
No.
I don't know what that means, the roles. I don't know what they're talking about here.
If I,
Council Bergman?
yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I recall, there's a lot of items that came through our committee, as you can see. If I recall, this had to do with, not an item I put on the agenda, but I think it was an item that was put on by one or more petitioners trying to find out whether or not petitions have to be done through city councilors only, or whether or not residents can petition the city council on their own. And I think it again had to do with the way the charter was written. And it seemed like in other communities, and again, this may have come from one of my colleagues, there were a number of items that came from a combination.
So
of
why are you
colleagues
speaking
and
about it?
from petitioners. So I
It's
don't recall.
obviously
But I think the
you.
issue here now is coming back to me is whether or not
Oh,
if
that's
a petitioner
convenient.
that's a non-city councilor wants to petition the city council, whether they have to have the council petition for them, or whether they could do it on their own. And I think there was some language in the charter and in other communities that seem to, have some differing opinions. So again, this looks like, it looks like a request for a report on what that means and why the charter reads the way it does and why other communities have adopted it differently.
Okay.
Thank you,
Other
Mr.
communities have
Chairman.
adopted
I'm-
our
again, I'm
charter?
a bit confused with this. I'm
fuck is he
gonna
talking
take a no vote. I do understand the questions. There's been a number of items that have come to my attention this term that have been turned away by the Office of the Clerk. I know that we, in consultation with law, and there's some questions there. We've done some reports that have gone to committee in that regard, and I'm sure the committee's done its due diligence. But these last two, the last one was that I voted no on, was that ensure the rules of the city council are strictly reviewed when making determinations relative to placement of items on the city. I'm not quite sure what folks are trying to get at here, Mr. Chairman, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and vote no. And we really need to take a very close look.
Was that Doug that put that on there?
At the decisions that are being made coming out of the city regarding petitions, Mr. Chairman. And that would require a review of those denials moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, Council Pasillo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the clerk, may I just ask a clarifying question? Have Worcester residents always been allowed to file petitions on their own, or was there a period of time where they had to have like a counselor sponsor?
Through the chairs of the council, I don't recall what the process was previously. I became clerk in 2020. I can only provide you what I had been under, my term, but I can certainly look back and provide you a report.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is G, roll call.
That's exactly what happened.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Ajay?
No.
Council King?
No.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes.
Wow,
Okay,
amazing.
so H through
12H, Mr. Chairman.
You want to do H too?
Yep.
Okay, roll call.
I'd like to speak on it.
Council King?
Thank you. This is 12H. Again, best practices regarding the process used for residents to petition their elected officials. I would vote for this. Again, my only concern is, you know, in all of these items, it says roles of residents, used for residents. And given the fact that we're trying, you know, that this particular item that
I can only imagine.
is about public participation and limiting it to Worcester residents with the method of determination of said residents under question. I'm not particularly comfortable with that language, given that it's all coming together out of the committee at the same time, Mr. Chairman. So I don't know if there's an opportunity to amend that. I'd certainly vote to support best practice used for petitioning elected officials in municipal government. I'm cool with that. I'd like to make that amendment and strike the word resident. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, as amended then? Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Caloria?
Yes.
Council Hajia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson? Yes. Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to speak on 12M.
M?
When we get there. Yes, please.
12M is
We could take the rest collectively.
safety concerns that thought all employees, including city council and school committee members, if a threat is made against them.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah, we'll go I through L.
Okay, I threw out. All those in favor? Opposed? So,
I have a question on I, Mr. Chairman.
okay, we'll do, okay.
As the one making the threats, I have a question.
I'm not sure what that means.
Request the city work with the city solicitor to review the history of the Route 30 regarding the reconsideration of items previously considered and relevance pertaining to the items placed on file.
I have a pretty good memory, but I can't remember every item every time. These were items that referred to the committee, so I don't know. I could ask maybe if the clerk, was that a chairman's order? I mean, if I had a few minutes, I'm sure I could put together what exactly the intent was, but I mean, we're talking about 20-something items.
Who's answering?
I don't know.
Police.
I'm going to get out Rule 30, Mr. Chairman, and hopefully that refreshes my recollection on what this was about.
So, through the chair to the council, so basically, Rule 30 is reconsiders of items previously considered. So if the council takes a vote on it, you reconsider the items after 90 days.
Okay. So thank you, that helps. So the issue, I don't know if that satisfies my colleague or if I should elaborate a little bit more, but I think the concern was, or the question was.
Yeah, Brian's riding the
What's
3 bus. If
interplay
everybody wants to go
between
say hi to
items that
Brian.
already voted down
Brian's on the
versus items that
3.
are Reconsidered with.
And Brian wants everybody to know that you should go out to the hot dog eating contest, Top Dog, happening at Ralph's this Saturday.
Oh, that's this Saturday. That's awesome.
Yeah, Shaun's competing.
That's right.
Jenny's son is competing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a madhouse.
In favor,
People should be
opposed,
there.
Ordered.
And you can get there for free via the WRTA.
That's right. That's right.
Well done.
City council
Just give
report
yourself-
detailing
yeah.
how safety concerns are brought
2 p.m.
forth to all city
Free.
employees, including city council and school committee members, if a threat is made against them. Councilor Hijack?
There's a good chance you'll get a
Thank
free
you,
hot
Mr.
dog
Chair.
afterwards if they don't eat them
I'm
all.
not sure of the origin of this order. I think perhaps Councillor King might have brought this up, but I would like to make an amendment to reflect the reality that a lot of elected officials are facing these days, including
I haven't seen it yet.
being murdered for their
Hope
political
Twitch,
views.
but I'm sure it
Political
happened.
violence is widespread. I have some concerns about the different interpretations people have about political violence. Violence means violence. It means physical harm. It means harassment. It means
K2Me's
violence.
statement had a very hilarious interpretation.
Physical harm against
Police?
people, against
Violence is when
their families.
you say a bad thing
That's something
about
that we
the
see
police.
nationally, and a tone and tenure that is being replicated here in Worcester. I have made public at least 10 emails that I have received, including text messages. Messages that say that ICE agents should have bashed my brains on the ground, that if this person was a police officer, that they would have wanted me to be dead. People who have wished myself and my children, people who have called City Hall, have called our council aides, warning me that I should be careful about my boys, my babies. People who have sent me messages on Messenger telling me that I should be careful about my children. People who have walked to my house, slowly driving and looking at my house. And people who have simply wished that I would be raped, that my children would be raped. People who have accosted me at memorial events and have called me a scumbag fucking piece of shit, have followed me, urged me to call them the same, but I'm not them. I'm not any of these people who use political harassment and intimidation tactics against a woman, a mother, a public official, because simply they do not like my stances. They do not like my protecting my constituents. And Mr. Chair, I have heard over and over and over from members of this body that they have been harassed. And I want to be very clear. I do not support any violent language, any anti-Semitic, Islamophobic language, anti-black, anti-brown, anti-woman, anti-immigrant. I do not support any of those. However, we are now faced, I am faced, as an immigrant, as a woman, as a mother, an elected official, with people who are coming into my city mail inbox, who are calling City Hall to warn me about my children. And people who have walked away from looking at me getting harassed, if it weren't for Councillor King and Senator Kennedy stepping in to say, no, it's not okay. It's not okay to call an elected official who is simply attending a memorial event honoring our veterans for the sacrifices they did a scumbag piece of shit. A scumbag piece of shit over and over again. People have not believed the types of harassment that I have suffered since I was elected. Harassments that I have reported to the city manager, harassments from the police union, lies and accusations being spread, smearing my reputation, smearing my name, attacking my family, coming to my house, vandalizing my car, vandalizing my home, and over again, I am told, it's okay. Nothing we can do about it. That was a bomb threat. A bomb threat. Specific to my house. The only person I called was Councillor King because that's the only person I trust. That's the only person I trust. I didn't call the police. I didn't call the city manager. I didn't call you. I didn't call any other people. I didn't call other friends. I called him because I trust him. He came to my house at 1 a.m. in the morning along with the bomb squad. Why? Why? Why is it that it's permissible in this time and place that someone like me or anyone who has a difference of opinion, who holds values that are so dear to our community, gets to be attacked, smeared, accused, lied about with impunity, and not a single member of this body publicly denounces those. I made them public for a reason, because I am
They
tired
turned off the comments,
of
Gio.
holding the vitriol, the threats, the absolute evil of people wishing me death, a slow death, of people wishing that I would be deported back to my home country. I escaped my country to come here to serve people. That is it. That's it. That's my agenda, is to serve people. And I have done that. I have done that even for people that would rather see me dead than alive. Even for people that would rather threaten my children than let me do my job. And so I want to amend this order to reflect the reality that women and people of color in this country, trans elected officials, are faced with an increased amount of threats. Death threats resulting in death. And I want the public to know, that we as a city need to take what's happening to me and to other colleagues who have been harassed on the police union pages for years and many, many times. I want them to know this city needs to take these things seriously. It needs to take them seriously. So I would like for this order, 12M, to be amended to reflect the words harassment, whether it's electronic, whether it's in person, or whether it's through the city council office. And I also want this order to amend to get a report from the administration as to what the city's
They've all claimed they've had
policy
it just
is
as bad.
in relation to elected
So I don't know why
officials
anybody would buy
being
onto this.
threatened, harassed, and
Yeah.
stalked.
Oh, come on, Mo. You better have some good words about this.
It's not my order. It came through MLO. It's Councilor King, so it's up to Councilor King to, we agrees to amend that or not. But it's, before I get accused of some of the things I've been accused of by putting some of these items on through MLO, I think I want to make it clear that this particular one, others are mine, this particular one's not mine. It's Councilor King's. But I also want to say I have no issue with some of the things my colleague says about amending it. But I will say that I've never spoken up about this issue myself, but I think now is the time to do it. This should be amended to include the categories Councilor Haxtree mentions. But if we're going to do that, we should talk about anti-Semitism, the fact that it's the highest growing hate crime in the state and in the country.
Cudgel.
And I find it incredulous that that's omitted every time we have conversations about the hate that's flowing in this country, in this city, and in this state. So if we're going to amend it, let's include something in there where the statistics are going through the roof instead of ignoring it.
Okay. Councilor King.
Get real mad.
Go ahead, Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First and foremost, change of speed here. I want to say thank you, Councilor Bergman and this committee. See, folks, the nature of politics is you stand for what you believe on, for what your values are, and you stand consistently. And with respect to this particular matter, I agree with all the amendments. I agree with the anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, ageism, sexism, ableism. The list goes on. Racism. I'm going to miss one. Of course. It's real. We're hurting as a community. This particular item makes it possible for us to come together on a simple order on work done in that committee. I had the opportunity to attend that portion of the meeting, and much appreciated, Mr. Chairman. Back to tone and tenor, as referenced by my colleague. I received a phone call a few days ago from a colleague who was dropping F-bombs, yelling at me for things I had nothing to do with. I've had colleagues defame and make irresponsible comments in the media regarding the causation that I was responsible for last week. Absolutely absurd. And there are real life consequences for that.
He looked
We have a
directly at
city
George when he
manager
was talking.
whose face is currently being plastered throughout the city, posted with a picture with his home address. Children live there. My daughter and I, my wife, we've been dealing with this since the Black Lives Matter rally in 2020 or 2021. This isn't new. Most recently, I've been called the N-word via email, a DEI N-word. I was a collateral warning to the bomb threat that the counselor received. I've been in communication with the Lieutenant Governor's office. I've been in communication with our chief. I've been in communication with the district attorney's office regarding this stuff. And I was present on Memorial Day when someone sought me out, and Counselor Hajii and Senator Kennedy were being effed off and told they were an effing piece of scum repeatedly by a man who was in their physical space nonstop. And I intervened, Mr. Chairman. And I know you witnessed one of those. You were there, Mr. Chairman, at that Memorial Day. Senator Kennedy had some words for you. But this particular issue is so important.
There's a lot of tea being
Mr.
spilled
Chairman,
tonight.
we don't have, let's be frank, we have
Yeah.
folks on the school committee, we have folks on the city council, and we are coming up out of pocket, quite frankly, for additional safety protections and parameters relative to cameras and equipment and et cetera. We should all have them. I don't enjoy when folks come in here and say F. Joe Petty or F. Bergman, or I don't enjoy that.
I do.
At all. I don't enjoy it. It's not fun. It's not fun to see it happen to any of you.
Bill, do you like it when
Counselor
people come in and
Hajii,
say F. Joe
including
Petty?
Senator Kennedy, including any of us. Merrill Carlson, Calori,
Hold on,
whoever
what do
it
you
is. I don't
When
enjoy
people
it,
come
Mr.
in.
Chairman.
He was referring to
It's
the champion
reality
last
of the
week.
times, however.
Oh,
Safety is
whatever.
important.
I was just
I'm
kidding.
gonna make a motion.
No, I know.
Actually, you know what? I'll do it next meeting. Next meeting, I'm gonna be coming forward with an order pertaining to taking a look, and I know the budget's over, but we're gonna take a look at, or we'll file, one of the two,
That's not violence.
financing
Despite the concerted efforts to
for
make it
elected
violence. that's not
officials and increasing their budget as relates to safety. It's necessary during these times, Mr. Chairman. As you heard, nationally, we have people being shot, people being harmed. I've been in communication with the chief of police regarding this stuff, cyberbullying, stalking. I brought that to the attention of the mayor quite some time ago and the city manager. But what I do not think we need to continue to do here at this body, we can't have a differential response based on who the elected official is by the leadership in this committee. And that's not just speaking to the mayor. It's not an attack on the mayor. It's on all of us. It's on all of us. What harms one harms all. And I think that we should be pretty consistent with that, Mr. Chairman. And, you know, the harassment, that's real. Physical threats are real. And, you know, we have some activists that are active, right? But we also have folks that intend to harm us. And they say it. I'm gonna blow you up in your house. I'm gonna blow this up.
Spray people in the face with spray paint.
A whole sorts of things. Some stuff that we're not gonna talk about today. But this is something that I put on the council quite some time ago. Got to committee, they heard it, and they made the correct actions there. And this is how politics works. There's things we agree on, there's things we disagree on, even out of committee. So once again, a thank you. And we can't stand for this. We have to come together with regards to this, regardless of political opinion. And, you know, saying about elections, it's about the right thing. Because what happens is when these facts are repeated in the public domain, it's an accusation about myself, it's an accusation about my colleague, it's Trumpish. It's Trumpish. Repeated enough, it's real. Just keep saying it. Keep saying it, chaos. Keep saying it, uncivilized. Keep saying it, threatening. Keep saying it about folks. Hey, you're responsible. Keep saying it, someone's gonna get harmed. It's irresponsible, and it's not okay. Thank you again to the committee for their work.
Councilor Toomey?
Mr. Chair, I rise to state that I am not sure, but I would venture to say that every single one of my colleagues has received threats over the years. No, I have. I know when I first got on the city council, I received death threats. Nothing was done about it. Nobody said anything. Oh, it's no big deal, right? Stuff. Just let it go. It's
That's
just
when I
good
took matters
politics.
into my
You
own
speak,
hand.
You know, you might have said
I
something.
became the
said
bat.
something. No big deal. Recently, well, in the past several years,
Let her finish.
within the past several years, I've had absolutely disgusting, vile lies and mistruths said about me. Oh, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. People have spread lies on Twitter and on social media about me.
What are the lies?
Don't worry about it. Let it go. It's okay. I recently, this year, got another death threat. I had to go out and buy cameras for my home.
I was hoping she was going to say a gun.
I didn't
I had
have
to go and get a rifle.
real
That would be
substantial.
And this is how we got K Toomey
anybody to
OnlyFans.
do an investigation.
Pulls a python out of her purse.
What was the?
But
I need
it
a
was
receipt.
still a threat to me and my family. It is not just one person, not just one political issue.
So then you agree, right?
It's happened to all of us.
So what
I
is?
know it's happened to you, Mr. Mayor. I know, Mr. Manager, it's happened to you. It's happened to our public employees. Our police, our fire have had these threats.
Oh my God.
Being a public servant is not
Who threatens the fire department?
automatic, does not automatically put you in as a target. It shouldn't. You're providing a service to the people of the community, and it shouldn't put us in harm's way. It shouldn't put anybody who comes to this job, whether you're elected or you're a city employee, and to the point where you're fearful. Should I buy one of those mirrors to go underneath my car to check it? There are times I go out.
You're talking about like an upskirt mirror? Those went out in like the
situational
30s.
awareness.
No king
Very
shaming.
important. We all
This is
learn
Kate's
about
side.
situational awareness. When I go into a restaurant now,
Oh my God.
I know where every exit is, so that I know that if I have to.
Welcome to
stay,
2025.
I do that. Every one of us
I've been doing that shit since
been
9/11.
harmed over the past several years. And for me, it's over the past couple decades. Mr. Mayor, I agree with you and my other colleagues. Whether it's anti-Semitism, whether it's ageism, whether it's someone disagrees with your political viewpoints,
None of these things are what it's how to talk.
we've
about.
all been harmed. And so this is a very serious issue, and it's something that we have to have a serious discussion, and it shouldn't be just about our elected body. It should be about also our municipal brothers and sisters who are doing their job every day as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ojeda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, well, I know. I know the issue is that it's not the fact that we've all received these horrible emails and threats. It's the fact that us as colleagues have to stand with one another at the end of the day. To read and to see other colleagues accuse of other colleagues, you're inviting others to stand to push on that. And to me, we just can't do that. We can't do that, no matter how frustrated you are, because we all have our own supporters, and our supporters will believe in us, even if we're wrong. And if we push that information out there, they're gonna support you and give that information. And if you're wrong, they don't know you're wrong. And to read some of the stuff that some of the councilors were accused of, we can't continue pushing that out there, because that feeds that hate, that feeds that anger. And us as a council, we need to support each other. And I've said this before. we're gonna have our differences, we're gonna have our back and forths. But when that information is sent out from another counselor, you're affecting those people's lives now. You are, and it's different. It's a different email you're gonna receive. Yes, you all have been received threatening. But when you, as a counselor, share that information, and you say they were responsible for this stuff, your supporters are now potentially can be the ones saying those hateful words. To hear that our senator and our counselor women were being spoken to so disgustingly, and I'm not blaming our counselors for that reason, but when that information starts to get out there, people feel as though they have a right to do that. And we should not be the one saying those words. If there's an issue,
What are they
we are
referring
colleagues,
to?
we
What's
are
he
one
talking about?
of another.
At the Memorial Day
Have
celebration?
that phone call, have that conversation.
No, what
But
counselor
to blast
put
it
out
there is not
shit
good,
that?
because there becomes a huge
I think the way
divide.
that
We're seeing it
they just
over
tend to
and
talk
over
about Patel and
feed
two in
that,
general.
and that's the fire
Yeah,
that they'll
yeah,
go
yeah.
with.
Either just emboldening
Last week
shitbags
we were here.
to be
For
shittier
a right
bags.
to protest, fine. But to hear the words, the swearing, the disrespect towards our mayor, towards our city manager, towards our councilors, calling them out, their names, and then we go that night and put that information out there, what do you expect is gonna happen? So we can't just say, oh, well, we've received threat emails and all that stuff. Yes, we have, but we can't continue to push that, to hear that,
Walk it off.
you know, we have significant others. You don't think our significant others worry about our own safety? I have kids. We all have kids. We have children. We have wives. We have mothers and fathers that care about us. And if we continue to push that, what do you think is going to happen? It's just going to
Push
continue.
what?
We have
I
to
don't know
take a
what he's
stand and say,
talking
hey, we may not agree with each other, but I'm not going to put that information out there because they're the ones that got to live with it. And that's not right. That's not what I signed up for, and I know that's not what we all signed up for. But we
Feels like
can't let
he's
frustration
scolding everybody.
Take
Like a
us,
Yeah, but
take us away from
who?
our
For
job.
what?
That's what we signed up for. We signed up to take the heat, but not put heat on our counselors, on our colleagues. It's not what we're here for, to put heat on the mayor and the city manager.
Talk specifics,
They have
yeah.
enough heat already. Why are we gonna do that? It's not what we're here for. And I think we need to do a better job in having those conversations with one another.
Wait, have we figured
Yes, I'm
out
a
what we're
counselor,
here
but
for?
I will never disrespect any counselors. People ask me all the time. I get interviews. I'll never speak for another counselor. That's not my role. Or how do you feel what they said? That's not for you to know. I'll let them know how I feel. But to hear that, it's hurtful and it's real tough. I'm from the city of Worcester, born and raised in the city of Worcester. Regardless of what you're doing, you're in the city with me. We're in this together. We can't let the outside distractions start to infiltrate what we want to do with our city as district councilors, as
It don't
councilors
make
at law.
any sense.
So we need to tighten some things up around here in order for us to continue as a city, because it's not going to get better if we continue to go back and forth. And anyone could say it's election season and they want to do this and that to get votes. So be it. But we know better as councilors. We know the direction this is going to go. I don't want to be the laughing stock. I don't want Worcester to always be on the news for negative things. When are we going to start celebrating the positive things that we do as a city, as councilors? We need to do that. This back and forth and then pushing that out is not helping us. And it's embarrassing, to be honest with you. But I'll hold my head up high, and I'll support every single one of you, through the bad, through the ugly, and through the good. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Russell?
Hey. Oh, boy.
Mr. Chairman, I can't agree with my colleague, Councilor Hager, any more than, we do need to focus on the positive things. And we need to support each other. Just a few days ago, we tried to focus on a positive thing in a neighborhood part of District 3 at Blythewood Playground. And there was a posting on a website, on a Facebook page, and I did drop an F-bomb. I know Councilor King looked at me when he said that, and I'll be the first to admit it. When I called him, because I was so upset, because somebody that I knew that had done some campaign work for him in the past. It was a site that was his Facebook page. And he was
Oh,
promoting,
shit,
trying to
Jack.
get people to come to disrupt Blythewood Playground. The opening of a playground for little kids. And I asked him, and aggressively, I will admit, aggressively asked him for the phone number and the contact of that person. I apologize for my tone that day. Mr. Chairman.
George, you did this.
You know, and
George, did
Counselor,
you call Jack? Jack, did you get a call from George?
Jack, what did you even do?
Your statements today, I want you to know that I'm here to support you.
Jenny's trying to will
everything
herself
that-
into a K-hole
along
right
those
now.
lines, as one member of this council, and as a person, someone that I've always had respect for, I've been agreed with on a lot of issues. But I want you to know that I too, as well as I'm sure all of the councilors here, are here to support you and your family. You know.
No, they're
last
not.
October,
They're making
my neighborhood
statements that are making
over
it
off of
worse.
Massasoit Road is famous for trick-or-treating. At my house, every year, I get at least 600 trick-or-treaters. Last October was the first time we
Talking
shut the
about
door.
trick-or-treaters.
It was right after that Palestinian thing, where we had people standing here trying to intimidate me, talking about all kinds of bad things. You know,
Oh my
that's something
God.
that I didn't feel good about too. But Mr. Chairman,
You
we
didn't
need
give
to
out
spread
candy because of
the message
What?
to people that support us, and I agree with my councilors that spoke, to all of us to take it down a notch, because this is not acceptable. You know, when folks came here last week, chanting, yelling, saying this and saying that, so be it. But to come with complete coverings so that they couldn't be seen and they couldn't be recognized, to wear masks, gloves, and head coverings. Gloves
It's okay for us to do.
on
Why wouldn't it be
75
okay for
rated
citizens?
day. And to have, as Councilor O'Hare
It's their
talked
fucking
about,
right,
spreading
George.
and ramping it up. There was a councilor who was posting, reposting, I should say, a post that encouraged people to come to that rally or come to that disturbance, whatever you want to call it. And the post that was resent, I got screenshots of it, said specifically in it, leave your phone at home. Leave your phone home and wear your mask, and leave your phone at home. That same councilor previously, a few weeks before, posted or reposted something from another group or another person that said they were looking to recruit, team leaders or whatever. And among them, they asked for medics, for volunteer medics. And it was being
Because
shared
you
by
have to
everybody's
have
house.
them when you have that many
was the
people
day that
together.
The manager and the mayor decided to go remote with that meeting. This is not acceptable. And hate from the right and hate from the left is still hate, no matter which way it comes from. It's still hate. And there's no place for it in this chamber. Hopefully, no place for it in this community.
Why don't you cry about it,
It's up to us to make sure there's no place for hate in this community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so hard to listen to. Oh, God. Joe's going to fix everything right here. There we go.
Yeah, I'm going for a cigarette. I need nicotine. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Petty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do agree with much everybody said here tonight. I guess all we have is each other at the end of the day. I think this selective outrage, it's got to be outrage every time one of us is attacked. And to know, I think we should actually send emails or texts to me so we all know what's going on. I don't follow social media too much, but I think we all know that we should know when someone gets attacked.
Joe, you were right
share it.
there when someone got attacked, and you didn't do
I
anything.
can do better. I'll do better going forward. It's almost become numb to this after last year or two, And I know we had the anti-Semitic remarks. Council Bryan was very professional. He said he didn't want to deal with it in the city council, and we let it go. But that's the stuff we probably shouldn't have let go that night.
That's the
and
stuff,
everywhere
yeah.
I go, I get the FU for the last year and a half. I get it. I've had police protection in the past, and we've all felt it. We've all felt it, and it should never happen. I think going forward, we just need to stick up for one another and making sure that we're all protected, we all understand it, we all work well together, and forget about the issues of the council. We'll agree and disagree on facts and on issues that are presented to us, but going forward, we need to protect one another, making sure we're all safe here in the city. I worry about it every day. How many times am I on the phone with the city manager, chief of police, wondering like who's being harassed, how are we going to handle this? Even recently, do we get restraining orders against people? It's coming to a point when I saw the pictures today of the city manager, just wondering, how far does this go? And Council Hygiai is right, and the stuff that I wish you would share some of those more with me. But going forward, I almost become numb to this. Some of this. I've been doing so long that sometimes I don't feel it. I almost have PTSD after a while. I was screaming and yelling over the last year in this council chamber, over the last year, 2 years. And but I think it's time to be focused. It's time to take care of one another. Time to take care of this community, and bring like Councilor Russell said, let's get the work done for the citizens of Worcester. And knowing that, and I just think even on Thursday, when I was there on Thursday, to go through that, it was a nice event, and not that I felt unsafe, but it could have been unsafe at any moment. But I thought Councilor Russell handled it well. As a group, we handled it well. So going forward, we just need to protect one another, handle it well, and really talk to one another. Thank you. Item M as amended. Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to say I'll be releasing the footage from Memorial Day tonight. It's important that I just want to say this, that we once again have to make sure that as comfortable as we can be and as safe as we can be, we're standing up for other folks in the moment, and we're not looking the other way. Again, there has to be some provisions. I don't think this is unique to us on the city council. I think it's also part of elected body in the school committee. I recognize my colleagues' comments as relates to employees and political appointees as well. And I would like to amend that to include, I think actually it's already out here on city employees, but also that we're taking a look of that. And I wanted to say this. The one thing that I said, even on the video, to folks, I take very seriously people's right to free speech. I want to make that very clear. That's been clear by my votes tonight on this floor as relates to transparency and civic engagement. And in the moment, as myself and Senator Kennedy and Councilor Hygiai were being accosted, I recognize the person's right to do that to his elected officials. It's the beauty of being in America. It's also the challenge of being an American and an elected official. And we have to be very, very careful in that regard. We have stay-away orders. The mayor mentioned restraining or some other sort of orders. We have to be very careful. And I can tell you this, Mr. Chairman, I need legal consults on that sort of thing from someone that represents this body, not just the administration. Because we also have to look out for our collective and the city's tax dollars as it relates to liabilities. Because I can anticipate some coming out with some of the decisions we made recently. Hope I'm wrong, but it's possible. And we as a body need our legal opinions outside of the administration for oversight purposes. So just want to be clear with that, and I do respect the right to free speech. We had someone who came in last meeting. It's like last meeting never happened. It's supposed to be a continuation, but it's really something else. But we had someone come in talking about, you know, the process, and I don't even know if it's true or not, but, you know, having to sign in, identify yourself when you're walking in. You don't do that in the State House when you go. So I don't, in saying what your business is there. When I go to the State House, I go in and I find my elected official, we keep it moving. Or the department I need to go to. So I don't know what's gonna come of that. And I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be looking for a impartial opinion on that. We don't wanna be in a place we were with the panhandling ordinance that some folks in this body voted for. Thank you.
Okay, M is amended. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Then we have N through U. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We have we are on 13E, request the Standing Committee of Public Health and Human Services holding a meeting to consider devising a comprehensive plan to address the substance use crisis in the city. Councilor Ojeda.
As it reads.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request city manager ensure the city provides the maximum allowable elderly exemption and abatement relative to property taxes as defined by the elderly abatement sections of the Mass General Law. Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I understand that the state increased the tax elderly abatement at the state level, so I just want to make sure that we as a city, when we're doing the double amount that we have historically done, that we're using the higher rate. So I guess that would be a question, Mr. Chairman, through you to Mr. McGurthy.
Mr. McGurthy.
Through the
Rob
chair,
proposed
the
a home
city
rule
administration
petition
always
to go
submits
above
the highest
the
available
state.
rate for the exemptions. And as this council has voted every year to double that amount as allowed for under the law, so we will make sure that whatever we submit come tax rate time includes the highest amount available.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request the manager requests the Commissioner of Public Works and Parks provide City Council with an in-depth report concerning the city's short-term and long-term plans to address flooding on Hayward Street. Council Russell.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank the Commissioner of Public Works for visiting this resident who was at the microphone last week. And he actually went out. I think he's come up with a short-term plan, but looking forward to that long-term plan dealing with the flooding on this and a few other of the streets that I've previously identified off of Massasoit Road that affect the Broad Meadow Brook. And hopefully some of that green Worcester funds could be utilized for these things. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request the manager, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Professional Services organize a meeting with the Mill Street Neighborhood Association for the purpose of discussing and addressing issues concerning related to Polar Park views developed.
As it reads.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request the city manager identify funding that ensures the city's women's shelter at the Seven Hills property continues to operate without interruption and servicing a critical resource to women aged 19 to 69. Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After meeting with a number of folks, first I want to express the gratitude to the administration, HHS, to all the stakeholders in this council and the mayor for establishing this, and for the state stakeholders if they who contributed. We need to make this a permanent part of city government and city resources. You know, this is a very vulnerable population. I don't have my notes with me from when the folks came and testified the last meeting when the group came in, but really speaking to the need of women having a safe place where they don't have to feel threatened where they don't have to be concerned with encroachment and violation by men and others. This particular opportunity will go a long way. I also asked for some information on our opioid funding. Through the chair to the administration, do we have an idea of what we're doing with that? Are we able to use any of that sort of money towards funding something like this through the chair? I know a lot of it's allotted and accounted for, but in theory, just generally speaking, is this something that we could apply here?
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, it's something that we can apply as long as the residents of the shelter are individuals who have suffered from any opiate or substance use disorder.
Thank you. You know, I know that there's a family shelter that's recently opened up or is opening up, perhaps in Councilor Hayden's district or Merrill Carlson, I'm not sure which one. And that's great. But this is important that we do this. We can't have an interruption. We're talking about people as young as 19 who are there. We know that the confluence and intersection of, you know, a lack of mental health services, the lack of affordable housing, the challenges of substance abuse and misuse, and the lack of resources all come together. And here in Worcester, as we can see by the eye test tells us that there's an uptick. We know that the elderly population, there's an uptick in those folks who are unsheltered and unhoused. We know that young people, there's an uptick. We know there's an uptick across the board. And we also know that we're going to continue to see that proliferate us as a city, as a hub of central Massachusetts. If you're in Spencer or East Brookfield or wherever you might be and you're unsheltered, you're having some challenges. You might be in someone's basement or on their couch or in the accessory dwelling unit or whatever the case might be. But where's the services? Where's the treatment? Where's the public transportation? They're in our hubs. They're in our hubs. They're in Worcester, right? They're in our smaller towns. They're in Marlborough and Fitchburg, Lowell, Springfield, Boston, of course. And we continue to deal with this. And, you know, some years ago, I worked with Leader O'Day, Representative O'Day on filing for the creation of parameters for carving out space in shelters just for young people, because the research shows that they don't access shelters as well for a host of reasons, some of which are related to their age and where they are, as opposed to the population generally in shelters. But this particular service is critical. It's a resource, and it helps build people up. Mr. Chairman, I would ask that the city and this council support that this continues to operate without interruption for those women aged 19 through 69. And as a girl dad of 3, you know, it's incredibly close to me as a dad as well. But we'd love to see this happen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request the city manager of Mass DOT to explore the feasibility of expediting the safety and audit of the Chester Street and Grove Street intersection due to the high rates of crashes.
Can we take 13K at the same time, and I'll make it quick?
Request the mayor to create a timeline relative to the implementing a remediation plan for the repair of potholes and resurface of Moreland Street.
Thank you. This particular item, 13J, is about the intersection between Chester and Grove Street. I received a message from someone who I attended Holy Name with many years ago, you know, telling me that they had lived on Grove Street, close to this intersection, for a few years, for many years, close to 20. And he said that he believes there's about 200 crashes that have happened over the course of that time. He said, you know, that this is a real issue. I reached out to our commissioner, He'd indicated that the most recent crash data there was 40 crashes in 3 years, Mr. Chairman. 40 crashes at this intersection in 3 years. And so there might be some mitigating steps that can be taken. It's also a Mass DOT or Mass DOT agreement that's in process. You know, and I know that they also, after I spoke with them, had indicated the safety team was out, and there will be some temporary signage as well. They're also looking at a longer-term safety audit, so I want to commend the department and Commissioner Raleigh on that, and a walk-around with engineers, et cetera. He said it's one of the highest crash rates in Central Mass, Mr. Chairman. And within probably an hour or so of me speaking with the commissioner, my friend reached out again, my former classmate at Holy Name, and indicated that there was another crash that I confirmed. This is extremely dangerous. I want it to be the highest priority. I had asked about a blinking light there. They're not used as much, but possible. They got to work with the state on this. You know, and really what I'd like to see is the safety audit that's coming to be expedited, Mr. Chairman. Secondly, Moreland Street. I've worked with Councilor Haji. I've been out there with DPW and Commissioner Raleigh, both the new commissioner. And they'd indicated, I had filed something a couple years ago, worked with Councilor Haji on that. We were told by the outgoing commissioner, at least I was, that'd be done rather soon. And then Commissioner Temporary Moylan came in, told me it would happen this spring, and then I was informed that it's not going to happen for a period of time. So in that walk, the engineer and the commissioner were shocked that that road is in the condition it is. You know, essentially what I got from that was in an unacceptable state, and there's a number of things that need to occur. We were told by Moylan I was told by Moylan that there needed to be some work. I don't know if it was the sewer or the lines or what have you, and that would, Moylan's, water, and that work would happen, and that late spring, early summer, they'd be repaving. There were over 40 potholes in like, I don't know, 0.2 of a mile strip, and it's very dangerous as you round out and you head down towards Pleasant. It's bad, you know, residents are very concerned. So I want to thank Councilor Haji for her work and helping pull this forward, and also her insistence on expediting a safety audit. And I also want to ask through the chair to administration, is this on your radar? How concerned are you?
Mr. Manager.
To your chair, to the council, it's on my radar, definitely concerned. Councilor Haji and I, every month we're talking about this. The commissioner, just today I asked for a status update on this. So we're definitely concerned, and we're definitely prioritizing this work.
Thank you. This has to be something that's done. And on the Chester Street, Grove Street, is that also high on your priority list through the chair?
To your chair, to the council, yes, absolutely. I think there's been already some engagement with Mass DOT because this area is under the jurisdiction of Mass DOT. And so we're going to continue to put our efforts, including myself, with the relationship that I have with Mass DOT to try to expedite some efforts in this area.
Thank you. 40 crashes in 3 years there. But also, as an amendment to this and ask for a report, the commissioner indicated there'd be some signage that would be available on the cut through from Holden Street, and when those mitigating signage can be placed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm just learning that Christy Nome was transported to DC area hospital after allergic reaction.
Mayor Petty.
And just on Chester and.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers.
Parkland should be included in that too. So.
Allergic reaction is a weird way to say overdose.
I know I brought up during the budget meeting.
That's filler.
This was.
I'm just kidding.
You put some stripes on the road, and you put a sign a little bit farther up the road. There's a stop sign ahead. We've done some work on the city side, but he can't do all the work, as has been mentioned by the chair, on the, without working up this mass dot. So I think this is urgent, there's no question about it. This has been something Council Priscilla's talked about over the last few years, too.
This is how I learned, by the way.
That this work to get done. So I appreciate the work that was already done, and this should be a priority in the city. Thank you.
I learned my news by memes. Just a dog that says, "Tell Christy I want her to know it was me."
All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Chester Street, requesting WCT3K. We are on HIJL. Requesting Standing Committee on Public Service and Transportation hold a meeting to discuss the status of the cable franchise negotiations, Charter Spectrum, impact on WCCA TV. Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As you know, that Mauro Di Pasquale has been here over the last several weeks on this particular item. He couldn't be here tonight, but I know that myself, along with Councilor Colorio and Councilor Priscillo and Councilor Bergman, have been having conversations with Mauro, and his ask is for the city manager not to sign the franchise agreement, and we would like for this to go to the committee for them to hear this item, and hopefully that meeting can be scheduled as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Somehow related, Morrow has also been on Facebook ranting about all the illnesses caused by Wi-Fi.
Yes, this is a.
Stop it.
Because this, WCCA serves the community in many different ways and many different services. I don't know, this would just be a clarification, Mr. Chair. If I'm the vice chair of that committee, could I call the meeting? And I'd be glad to have a meeting on that item. Through the chair to the clerk, can I call a meeting?
Through the chair to the council, my understanding is the mayor has to appoint a new chair if that's going to take place.
We can do that.
Okay, because I'd be glad to hold a meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Priscilla?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple weeks ago, I went down to WCCA TV and toured it. And you know, that's been a cornerstone of Worcester's civic and cultural life for nearly 4 decades. And it's a great chance where
How do you watch it,
residents
Jenny?
can produce media, access local government, share stories, and just really, it's a chance to learn a lot. You know, WCCA's funding comes from franchise fees paid by Worcester cable subscribers, but those fees pass through Charter Spectrum, a multi-billion-dollar company that continues to raise rates, cut service, cut quality, and dodge its basic obligations to our city. So while WCCA is expected to do more with less, its budget has been slashed by hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past decade. Spectrum has failed to invest in local infrastructure, ignored repeated requests to expand affordable broadband, and despite repeated advocacy from the council, the Cable Advisory Committee, and residents, still refuses to offer a modest senior discount. And our older residents, many are living on fixed incomes, continue to pay these inflated bills while Charter profits. You know, the bottom line is it would be great to discuss this and however we can, and just see if there's a way to help WCCA TV out and also start holding Charter accountable for doing the things they said they're supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
To sign on?
Yes. What's that? You want to sign on? Council King wants to sign on. Everybody want to sign on? Okay. All those as amended. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request the city manager to consider organizing the appropriate recognition of Douglas J. Hammond Jr. as a lifetime commitment to the Little League in Worcester to honor his passing. Such a recognition could include the name of the athletic field, a street naming, etc. Councilor Bergman, Alita.
Be quick on this, Mr. Chairman, as I think we discussed and noted last week, Dougie Hannon passed away, and for those of us that knew him, and as many of us did, and many of the communities in Worcester do, he was part and parcel of the Little League programs throughout the city for decades and decades, and he'll sorely be missed. Speaking with his wife and with others, it'd be appropriate to recognize his commitment to Little League. The place he spent the most time of late was Beaver Brook, and there's a clubhouse there that possibly could be named for him. There's also a short road over there. So there are options, and I think all the options are good options. I think we'll come up with the best option with input from his wife and from the Parks Department. So I'm hoping that this gets referred to Parks, and we can have a more in-depth discussion about what would be the most appropriate way to recognize his commitment to Little League in Worcester. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Ojeda? And everybody wants to sign on, I take it? Okay. Okay. Councilor
Thank you,
Ojeda.
Mr. Chairman. Yes. Doug was my coach, and he meant a lot to me, him and his family. So this means a lot to us. He's one of the reasons why I'm the coach I am today. Just a great person, and taught me what it means to show up all the time, be there, be respectful, respect others, and care for one another. So I'm really excited to see what we can do. Again, that was my guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. Thank you.
That's it, Councilor Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also served for years, decades actually, with Doug on Park Spirit. Doug loved all things parks and sports, and he really, truly gave his life, his heart and soul was baseball, his family, the city of Worcester. And he has touched, I would be willing to say, tens of thousands of people's lives by his actions, by his support for Little League, by his support for the kids, his compassion and caring about making sure that every kid had an opportunity to play who wanted to play. And so I think he certainly was one of those greats that come along once in a while who really filled the space. And now there's a void. And
Folks, the
if we could all be
greats
a little bit more like Doug,
fill the
the world would
space.
be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. So as amended, we'll send that, everybody want to sign on? Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We are on N, request city manager, request Commissioner of Transportation Mobility, review the intersection of Herman Street and Southwood Street to improve the one-way only signage at the entrance to Herman Street. Council Bergman?
As it reads.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request manager consider providing council with a report concerning the expansion of the Shannon CSI funding parameters. What's that?
Yes, I'd like to.
Said report should be include information that identifies how the changes in the funding parameters may impact youth oasis crisis responsiveness, as well as an update concerning the related selection committee member planning and selection process. Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to hold this. Some members of the public would like to speak on this, but we're not available.
Okay. Well, this is held on the privilege. Request the Senate provide council with a report dealing with city contributions projected contributions to the Worcester Public Schools relative to facility acquisition, maintenance, and any other related maintenance, deferred maintenance schedules. Said report should
Just a
include strategic
flashlight.
planning for and contributions over
Yeah,
the past
12
10
pack of
years,
glow
as well
sticks
as
to get 'em through an
projections for
average
upcoming
meeting.
fiscal years. Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We really would like.
They also could print it larger print.
This report as soon as we can. I know that the public budget process has stopped. I'm going to hold the item pertaining to Seaver Street tonight, which is 20D or so. You know, and it's just an inquiry again, and I've mentioned this before on the council floor. There's certainly a separation and delineation of roles, duties, and responsibilities by this elected body and the school committee's elected body, two separate things. However, the cross-play occurs as relates to facilities, And we know that, and it's happening in real time with regards to Burncoat and the potential Burncoat Middle School. As Vice Chairman, I received those updates from the state, from SBOA and folks around where the process is, and I look forward to that playing out. And we have a committee, a joint committee on education that's for the schools and the counselors who have to vote on things pertaining to schools, get into the loop. City manager has worked with this past superintendent, the predecessor of Manager Batista, and the predecessor of our past superintendent also worked together. But there's a need to close the loop here, Mr. Chairman, with this body when we're asked to vote and to contribute monies, or if it's to also approve funding and loans and bonds. Through the chair to the administration, I asked this during the committee, but my understanding is that we've committed, or the manager and the council have committed additional funding, perhaps of $1 million or so, to the schools for facilities. If you could just speak to, again, just generally what we're doing on the city side as relates to maintenance, deferred maintenance, facility acquisition. You know, I stand firm on the idea of Seaver Street, $6 million. We have over $1 billion in bonds, that loans that we've taken out that we haven't used. We talked tonight about $2.5 million that we may not need for Worcester Auditorium, with the influx coming in of 50 million. Perhaps we will, perhaps we won't. And $6 million is cheap compared to 250 million. We also have heard a little bit about the other buildings in the school system, but this is really the first time we were hearing that there might be a need for additional dollars from the council. If you could just speak to the comprehensive way that the city manager is guiding this body in addressing those issues from the city side.
Mr. Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, through the chair to the council. Thank you for that question. I think there's been a number of efforts over the past couple of years, during the past two budgets, that we've tried to propose new ideas in which we could invest collectively to the school administration. That has been in partnership with the superintendent, understanding the needs. I remember my first conversation, one of my first conversations with the superintendent, Dr. Monarez, when she first came in, that the priority was the infrastructure and the maintenance of the schools. And I believe over a year ago, there was a long discussion about deferred maintenance in the school system. And so there was two things that we did last year. Was one, we created a stabilization account, a school maintenance stabilization account, where we took additional dollars over new growth that we put into the stabilization account. It's a new account that we created. We put $1 million into that account. In addition to that, we took $1 million of block grant dollars and committed that over the next 5 years, in addition to their typical 4-year allotment for school maintenance. We gave an additional $1 million. That is outside of the fact that we also gave an additional $1 million for Roosevelt to improve, because some of the challenges of sidewalk, the parking, the Grafton Street, some of the backup of vehicles there. So we gave some dollars as well through that effort. In this year's free cash, through this year's free cash, as part of the FY 24 budget, but it was during FY 25 that the free cash came in. We shifted over $10 million to the schools. A little over $2, if not $3 million were put into the high school new high school fund, because we wanted to continue to invest in that stabilization account for the purposes of Burncoat. But then we also gave an additional $7 million for any additional needs in the schools, whether it's capital needs or operational needs as well. And so we're always working with the superintendent. We've been meeting together for over a year on a monthly basis, discussing their priorities, our priorities, what are the areas that they would consider further improvements. We have some modular units in the schools that needs some further improvements. We've had conversations about those. We've talked about the idea of consolidating some schools or some areas and what that implication could look like, and what are the areas that we want to put our targeted investment. I know East Middle was one area that we needed to put a targeted investment into East Middle School, because that was a school that was in really disrepair. And so there's another elements of schools that we've been discussing to try to put additional dollars. That is aside from everything that we've already committed to the schools over the past couple of years.
Thank you. And I'm no mathematician, but $1 million in the school stabilization account, $1 million over the next 5 years as well, and free cash, $10 million for the schools, another $1 million for Roosevelt. You mentioned the $7 million as well. It's a lot. And do all those require the vote of the council, through the chair?
Through the chair to the council, yes, all of those have required the vote of the council, and it has come to this body as part of the budget or recap process.
Thank you. And so for folks who are wondering why is Councilor King asking these questions about the schools, that's the reason. We as a body vote on it. We certainly have faith in the city manager. The school committee does its piece to prioritize. The mayor is the chair of that body. But it's terribly important that we have an idea about this, particularly when we know that there are schools that are inadequate. There are schools where kids are not safe, and it's good to know. So the $1 million for the next 5 years, can you just clarify what exactly that is?
Mr. Manager?
Yes, through the chair to the council, we
Block grants.
receive block grant dollars, entitlement dollars through the federal government to give to communities. A portion of that is allotted
Did you see the Jedi mind
public
trick on Eric?
infrastructure for the purpose
That's
of
what I was
improvements.
looking at too,
And so
Brendan.
we took a portion
What
of
was
that,
it?
which is $1 million.
It's like King answered his
that we
question
committed
for
to
him,
invest
and then all of
in
a
the
sudden
schools
Eric
over
was
the
like,
next
"Yeah,
5
block
years,
grants."
so that they can address whether it's windows, boilers, et
Cool.
cetera, in addition to our typical $4 million allotment that we give them every year. We wanted to give an
It's
additional
not the
million,
underfunded school
so that they
infrastructure
could
you're
be
looking
be
for.
able to expand the amount of work that they can do in the schools.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It makes it clear to me that $6 million for Seaver Street ain't a whole lot when you consider what we heard today, and when you consider, we're taking a loan out for $2.5 million that we may not even need. So, I appreciate that, and I'd love to get this report, and hopefully the chair of the Education Committee will bring that forward. Thank you so much.
Chairman, just a point of order, is Seaver Street items, are those held, or are they something that we're discussing tonight? Just, it's up to you. I just don't
think you
want to
just
not
said-
talk on them if they're being held, they're being held, so.
He's holding on privilege, right?
So, Mr. Chairman, yes, Councilor King came over and held them under privilege. I can read you the rule again if you like.
All right, I'll talk about them when they're up.
What's that?
I'll talk about those items when they're up then.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I take 13P to committee?
13 what?
13P.
This goes to the city manager, right? Yeah, the report, yeah. Or I get the report and send it to education afterwards, so you have something to talk about. Okay, those in favor, opposed, so ordered. This is why I've been trying to get money into that school fund. Bronco Jr. coming on. Okay. 14, communication city clerk. 14A, transferring information communication over the process of filling the chief of staff to the city council position. Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I think this is an excellent item. I want to thank the clerk for his leadership on this. But, with the city council office gets a lot of traffic on a daily basis, and I just found out a few weeks ago that our past person that had this position was actually paying for the coffee I mean, I know we've got a lot more important things to talk about, but that's not acceptable, in my opinion, for them, for having a staff person having to reach into their pocket.
Paying for the
to
coffee.
buy coffee, so that when residents and city councilors come in and out, that there's, coffee fund, so. I just would suggest to the manager to find some money in the budget for that. Thank you.
You could buy your own coffee.
Okay, so,
Through the chair to the council, sorry to provide some clarification. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. We do have a fund for water and coffee. I don't know why the staff person was buying coffee.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
also the city clerk's office offering
We'll talk about it after. I just
translated
brought it
closed
up in front of
captioning
God
for all
and
city
everybody.
council and standing committee accounts, so we can place those on file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 14C and 14D refer to the MO Operations Committee. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 14A and 14C and 14D. Go ahead, okay. 15A refer to the Economic Development Committee. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 16A, advertise proposed ordinance. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, 16B is accepting and adopting the roll call. Roll call.
16D?
B.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Reconsideration. Roll call.
16B.
16B, motion for reconsideration. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
No.
Council Calorio?
No.
Council Haji?
No.
Council King?
No.
Councilmember Carlson? Council
I
Nguyen?
would
Council
drink
Ojeda?
coffee right now, Gia.
Council Pasillo?
No.
I'm
Council
genuinely
Russell?
thinking about getting a
Council
cup.
Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty?
No. 17A to 17T, motion to accept. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. (18A) to 18D, motions accept. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 19A to 19C, motions accept. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay, which ones were held here?
20D?
20D? Okay, 20A, motion to advertise proposed ordinance. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Mr. Chairman, motion reconsideration on 20B.
On 20 what?
B.
We haven't got there yet. We're doing that next.
I'm sorry.
Okay, 20B, C,
Dink.
B and C. we're gonna
Make
hold
sure you know
B,
I hate
so
you all
roll
in
call on
advance.
B and C.
Yeah, really.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
20B?
B and C.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes.
Reconsideration on 20B.
20B reconsideration, roll call.
Council Bergman?
No.
Council Calorio?
No.
Council Haji?
No.
Council King?
No.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
No.
Council Pasillo?
No.
Council Russell?
No.
Council Toomey?
Nope.
Mayor Petty?
No. 20E and F, motion to accept and to adopt. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 20G through 20H, motion to accept. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay, we are down on a roll call. 21A, roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Resolution, the city council City of Worcester does hereby commend and honor Justin Halen, Vicky Collins, Paul Snape, and Elijah Johnson of the Department of Public Works and Parks, and Department of Transportation and Mobility for their roles in saving the life of a toddler who was found on the Chilmark Street. Held on the privilege, adopting the roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council Ojeda? Council Patillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. We have a motion to adjourn. Those in favor,
Yeah!
so ordered.
Music to my ears.
Well, does that mean that we just pick up this week's meeting now?
No,
Okay,
this
phew.
week's meeting was that.
Yeah, we're starting over now.
That's what I was afraid of. I genuinely thought we'd have to start back over.
No, they did a combined agenda. Yeah, that was riveting stuff, man. That was really good. I got a lot of files reorganized and deleted. During that last part, it was fun to hear them all passive aggressively talk about each other. Kate Toomey really stole the show in that moment, as she always does. Because who's really under attack in America? It's the police. It's the police. Right. Police. It does not get less funny anytime that I do it. To me, I'm sure it's people watching at home.
Screw 'em. It's funny to us. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. What else?
George is waxing poetic about his time on the council now that he's not running, and he seems to be bringing up all the various jobs and roles he's had over his years.
Yeah, he's finally going to correct the wrong of the city council aide buying their own coffee. That's really top of mind kind of stuff.
What were the comments on that post, Bill? Do you know the two comments?
No, because I didn't even see it before I got deleted. I'm just relying on other people's quick screenshotting fingers. You ever see Kate Toomey do anything funny on the internet, which happens often and late at night usually, for reasons. For reasons. Reasons that she would definitely call slanderous on the city council floor.
I would imagine so.
Probably would call a death threat. I mean, I think we do need to see some of the receipts on that. We have the receipts, unfortunately, on Attell's death threats. So
yeah,
if Kate wants to play ball on this sort of like narcissism Olympics that she's always competing in, we got to see some receipts. Kate. I'm sorry.
The narcissism Olympics.
Worcester City Council is the Worcester branch of the Narcissism Olympics.
My God.
Yeah, her and Candy are the stiffest competitors. The Mo Bergman.
Mo's up there too. Mo got
too.
real loud and goes to the same thing he always goes to. And again, I'm not saying anti-Semitism is good. Like, fuck that. But it's the only, I know. But I mean, I don't want to misconstrue that it's just the first thing he always goes to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anytime you say anything to him, he's like, oh, you're being, I don't know.
One weird trick.
Yeah.
It's one weird trick. It's unfortunate because it wasn't invoked to be helpful or productive.
Thank you. Better way.
It was invoked to be like, my problems are the worst.
Right.
Which is the gross part, because Attell did a pretty good job of even just keeping it together and getting at, like, none of us should be feeling threatened while we're just here trying to make the city a better place. It didn't need to be hammering in on specifics.
Yeah. And then Mo stood up and went, have you tried to be Jewish in an eastern seaboard city of the United States? I mean, that's like, yeah. Anyway.
Christian calling out George for F-bombing him. George standing up very calmly saying, yeah, that was me. I had a couple words. Yeah, I want to know what this Memorial Day video is. Have you seen that already?
I have seen it. It's a fucking crackpot. Comes and bombs the meeting, and like in very scary fashion, sort of directly targeted at Attell, Christian, and Robin intervene. Joe Petty just kind of watches it happen awkwardly, and then walks away. He doesn't do anything. So a lot of what he said on the council floor tonight is kind of thrown into the absurd by what he has demonstrably shown himself to do in recent memory. So, yeah, we had a very productive conversation. Yeah, they got tossed. Yeah, it was.
But not physically, which is kind of part of the problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's. I mean, like people that like that do stuff like that should just be beaten up. I think. And that's just me. I understand that that's illegal and that, you know, it's quote unquote irresponsible. But if you like people who do whack shit that make, you know, good people feel unsafe.
Yeah.
It is not a violation of your First Amendment right to get socked in the face.
And I am open to counterpoints. I just wish more people felt that way, Bill.
Yeah. It is, you know, you could make a free speech argument for socking someone in the face. I mean, is it speech? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but
it's part of my religion.
Certainly sends a message.
It's where I give Christian a lot of credit too, because it shouldn't be. Well, gender is not the point. Some crackpot dude picking on Attell and Robin, it clearly makes it the point. Yes. And it kind of is incumbent on the other adult males to put an end to that are there.
Yeah. That's very true. And you know, say what you want, like the unfair, you know, gender dynamics. That's just true. That's just, yeah. George Russell did come out pro mask ban tonight. I mean, he's a fucking Democrat. What do you expect? He's just like a run of the mill Democrat. I love his like thing about like hate from the right is the same thing as hate from the left, a thing that the Democrats only invoke when there's uprisings against the police state from the left. They never like imagine them saying that after like I don't know like a Christchurch style situation. You're like, what happened in Buffalo?
Bill, as the in-house Democrat, I would just like to point out that I have multiple face masks that I still haven't opened yet. Like in colorways, so many colorways that I'm going to match every outfit that I have this summer.
Save it for next winter. That's when it'll need it again. The new strain of COVID's coming.
I'm no savage. I use merino wool on the motorcycle in the winter. These are just face coverings for potential illegal activities.
Yeah, it's just do it. Just where I mean, like
I shouldn't say illegal activities for not being identified while things get weird.
Right. I mean, the surveillance machine that they're have already built and our building is like a Death Star in quality and in scope. So, yeah, don't unless you want to take risks, you don't have to have your face be shown in public places where the state is being opposed. But yeah, no, it's hate from the left and hate from the right is like the same thing, and we gotta like stand together and be together. I definitely know what standing together means, and I definitely know what working together means. So when politicians say that, I take a lot from it.
Yeah.
When Joe Petty says we're gonna work together, I know exactly what he's talking about and exactly what that calls upon me to do. And it's definitely work. It is definitely work. And he rolls up his sleeves and he does it. He does it.
I know I've mentioned it before too, but like Kate did the same thing that Mo did, standing up and like making the threats of violence, theoretical threats of violence about herself. For me, that was really funny because, as I've mentioned to you before, Kate is the first like actual physical entity that I ever heard say the word "all lives matter." And like, It's just whenever I hear her talk, that from that point forward has always been the context. And hearing her do that, it's the same thing. Just
Yeah.
we're telling a different story and pointing out that all of our feelings matter, and they do matter. Police feelings matter, but they might not be equal to other feelings in context.
I don't know. I don't know if like Anthony Petroni's feelings matter to me. I'm
Now,
sure
come
it
on, you-
matters.
This is true.
I'm sure they matter to somebody, but
I'm just saying,
if
Bill
all
Shaner,
feelings don't matter.
if
Yeah,
Bill
I'll say
Shaner had a couple pops in him when he was walking down the street and he saw Anthony Petroni sitting on the curb crying into his hands, you'd go over and say, "Hey, man, you need a hug?" You probably wouldn't mean it, but you'd still give him a hug. You're an empathetic human being. That's all I mean. I mean, in a very general, high-level sense.
I love that you think that I would do that. Of course I would. Yeah.
You would.
We saw you talk to a non-housing individual last week and give him the same kind of compassion.
Well, yeah, but that's like somebody who deserves it.
Fair.
And Tana talking about rioters. Yeah, this is somebody who actually supports political candidates that got on buses to go, or local political candidates who got on buses to go to the Capitol, where like actual police officers were murdered, an intent to overthrow the government. And she thinks a bunch of underfed vegans with face coverings that's a riot. I actually
yelled at her.
And whatever the opposite of an accelerationist is, as that, I actually want riots just to watch these pearl clutchers have to deal with their emotions during an actual riot.
It's the closest thing they've ever seen to a riot. But I mean, they did basically the same thing that the cops did after the DOJ report came out.
Yeah.
It's just that they let the cops speak and they didn't let these guys speak. So yeah, I don't know, but it's, I don't know, just hearing the way that they talk past and through each other. It's just like, what is the point of arguing with them? I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. I think we just have to make them seem silly. There's because just articulate how silly they are. Because this particular side of the aisle in Worcester, not one that we're going to shake hands with at all.
Nope.
It just needs to be, baby needs to be put to bed. Baby needs blankie. Baby needs to be put to bed. They need to find a different way to spend their retirement, I think. What would be cool is if we had like a side city council, like we had one city council with real powers, but then another city council that gets broadcast on WCT3K TV. And they can sort of like have all their like, little haha, like little weird feuds and spats and talk about rats and potholes. And then we can have another city council that like does stuff. And I mean, that's what's happening right now. It's just the other city council is the Economic Development Coordinating Council, which doesn't meet publicly or have elections. So unless we can somehow take control of the one that has actual power, I think we need to sideline our Kate Toomey's and Mo Bergman's to like an even faker city council, and then call the real city council something really boring, like woke activities oversight committee or something like that. Yeah. Put me in charge of the charter, I'll figure it all out.
So I'm seeing this, and I'm also seeing that the weather is going to be 93 degrees next Tuesday night. So do we start the hot stream from Kate's pool?
Oh,
that
so funny.
Is I cannot believe you would make a death threat on this show. I mean what Kate has to go through is just I gotta call because they talked about jumping in my pool. That's kind of a death threat. If you really think about it. So.
That's worse than the slur that I used.
Yeah.
All right. We're ready to get out of here.
We're ready to get out of here, for sure.
Go home.
Yeah.
People, follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on the Instagram.
Follow Oh, that corrupted, huh?
What do you mean corrupted?
Okay. It doesn't show your image anymore.
Oh, you guys know. Yeah, go to Worcester Sucks. Yeah, 5 years this week.
Wow.
I have a retrospective post on Thursday. Yeah.
And people should go to the hot dog eating contest. Top Dog.
Yeah, I'm
Saturday,
excited for that. That's
2
gonna
o'clock.
be good.
Free to play. And free to attend and to watch. The contenders already picked.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, we're done here. See you next Tuesday, babies.
Bye-bye. See you this year.
Have a good one.